There.
Now we're live.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
For a solid 30 seconds, I was talking to myself as I had forgotten to add this beautiful camera to the stream. Hello.
I'm really giggly. Hello, everyone.
Welcome on board Police Seal. Tonight we have two special guests, Khiara and Adam, that
Hello.
I'm sure you already know, and Ryan. And a bottle of port wine. Okay, we are starting soft with some wine and some beers.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of food just so that we would take it on the safer side.
The aim of the game isn't to go through the whole bottle of port, just to clarify.
Oh.
We have...
Oh no, we've lost Adam.
This is your guys' first YouTube live, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful to have you guys to hold our hand through this because, it's a pretty daunting thing. It's easy to sit down in front of your camera where nobody's watching and answer questions that you've been primed to answer in your own time, and then you can edit it. If you fumble, it's okay, but it's a live studio audience. It's a big deal. It's kind of cool.
This is fun. So for the occasion, we have come up with a special setup. Hopefully, you guys can hear us well. Let's have a look here in the chat. It feels like you guys can hear us. Oh, hi, Tanny. This is fun. Hi, Dog. Hi, Tammy. Oh, and I have a former colleague of mine in the chat as well, Malin. Hi. So we have a camera in front of us, and we have the laptop here on which we're going to get all of your questions. And I even have Annette, our crew, who crossed the Atlantic with us,
Right.
moderating
She's, again, our crew.
the chat.
Thank you, Annette, for doing that one. Definitely.
So tonight we're going to do Q&A. Normally when we do those lives, we try to maybe talk a little bit about things. Maybe we can start by doing that too. And then we go into a Q&A. Maybe you guys want to talk about where we are, what we're doing, like how we met maybe.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's do it.
And
So we've actually just come back from a trip to Turkey, which if anybody who is any of our subscribers might know this. If not, then we've just come back from a trip to Turkey. And so we were sitting in Ponta Delgada for a little while, and then these guys came in, and we'd contacted them. So they had contacted us a few months prior to even crossing the Atlantic, and we're like, oh, hey, when are you going to go? And we replied back, well, we're going to go then. And so we were chatting a few months ago, and anyway, we finally managed to bump into each other and catch up with each other. And this is the place where we've done it. So you've come back from France, you've come back from America, we've come back from Turkey, and now we've all finally hooked up and had a few meals, had a few wines, and made friends.
I think it's fair to say that every time we meet, we have such a boring time.
Oh, it's so dull.
It's
I know.
awful. It's awful. Like
It's so terrible. We had to make everyone else watch.
Well, we use up all of our good vibes on the videos, and then when the cameras go off, we're all like,
Say-
oh,
oh man.
I think every time that we meet you guys, though, we manage to get you to change your sailing plans.
Yeah, actually, that's, you're not wrong. You're actually right.
And coincidentally, our sailing plans are to cross back over the pond. What are your sailing plans?
Which, incidentally, we changed our plans shortly after hearing what their plans are. Because, well, it just sounds like a good idea.
I
It
feel
sounds
that
quite fun.
I feel like our plans have been fairly consistent in the last 6 months, which is rare.
To be fair, though, Adam hasn't tried to convince me to do something else either. Do you know what I mean? Like,
All bad thoughts.
just for now, yes.
So in just a couple of weeks, we will be sailing down to Madeira and
right.
then down to the Canary Islands, and we're going to recross the Atlantic back to the Caribbean. And there is a chance that we end up buddy boating, right?
I think so, yeah.
Seems like it.
It sounds like we're going to
As much as you can buddy boat in a fast Beneteau and our little boat.
I'm pretty sure. No.
We might have to leave the handbrake on for us.
That does not exist. No, but fun. I think that that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, guys. We already have a couple of questions.
Cool.
Somebody wants to know, Ryan, if you already have a commercial deal with Taco John's.
So
Put things in context, Ryan.
Because I don't know the story, so
Okay,
tell me about
yeah,
Taco Jones.
What's a Taco Jones?
It's Taco John's.
John's.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Have you all heard of Taco Bell?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Taco John's is like the Midwest version in the United States of Taco Bell,
Okay.
but significantly better. And I have like these cravings for taco. I'm not really a big fast food guy, but Taco John's I like get these cravings for. And so when I went back to the state, like a few years ago when Sophie and I went back, Sophie heard me talking about Taco John's so much that for Christmas she got me a gift card to Taco John's, but it was like a $30 gift card.
Oh my god.
So I was eating Taco
Man.
John's like every other day to use the gift
Oh
card.
wow. To be fair, $30 nowadays at McDonald's would get you like
well,
that's
three
true.
meals.
2 meals,
That's-
maybe?
that's
Yeah,
true.
3 meals.
That's fair. I'm just trying to see. I actually have a photo, I think. No, I don't. I have a photo of me at Wendy's. That's a different story. Anyway, so I love Taco John's so much, and we talk about it a lot on these live.
Right.
So the idea was like, hey, maybe you should
You need to
get Taco
get some,
John's to
like,
sponsor you. And
merchandise.
I did not do that, but since that question came up, it's been like rolling in
Well,
my head, like maybe
there was a Corona sponsorship. Why not
Yeah.
Taco Bell?
Maybe-
Or Taco Jones.
Taco John's.
John.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it might be. Maybe I'll just send them an email and be like, "Hey, love the tacos. It
How
is
about
good." The thing that they have are these potato olays. They're like fried. They're like fried little saucers of like potato.
Potatoey goodness.
And they've got the seasoning on them. And even Sophie loves them, right?
Okay, guys, like we're counting on you to come up with good questions to fill these lives with content
is a
that is
great
not.
question.
Yeah, sure. We're
No, I made some guacamole
they even-
earlier, and he's like, "So are there nachos with this?" So I think he's already
Sebastian
vibing
even
in
referenced-
the whole chat. He's preparing.
He even referenced
Yeah, dated
he
and-
did his homework.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sebastian.
All right, so I have a question for you guys if one doesn't come up. What are your plans after you're crossing back? So you've got, I think, the Bahamas, is that right? Sort of, maybe.
So
What's the year, maybe year and a half plan?
You can't have a year and a half.
I know it's
nowadays.
obviously everything is
Well,
subject to
actually,
change.
we do
Oh.
because we have a little bit of a constraint.
Are we wrecking a surprise here, by the
Sorry,
way?
yeah.
No,
No, I
didn't
don't
do
think it's a
It's highly
surprise. I
classifiable.
think that we've talked about it, but probably at the end of a live, so at a place where probably not a lot of people would have heard of it. But a few months ago, Ryan and I applied for a green card.
Woo! Ooh, Ryan
So
gets to live in America.
So that I get to travel to the United States. Yay! It's been 2.5 years. We're kind of missing it. Here, I'm going to do this.
So we'll probably go to the U.S. We'll go to like Antigua, maybe BVI, Bahamas, up the east coast of the U.S. And then we've got to be in the U.S. quite a bit for the next few years.
Oh,
So maybe we'll go back to the USVI, Puerto Rico, maybe Hawaii.
cool.
We want to get some Pacific
Ooh,
under our
yeah,
belt.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
That's
you're
a
thinking,
decent slug.
yeah,
There's,
that's
like,
pretty
there's
cool.
options.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow, all right.
we'll see.
The swearers are in the place. Hi, guys. World Turning is another sailing channel that we get to meet and spend a little bit of time on Skype together.
Awesome.
And
Cool.
they're really nice. And
nice to meet you.
we're also hoping that our path cross. I think that there is a probability that it happens.
I think they're going north though.
And also, thank you for the super chat. That was super nice. All right. Okay. Did we run into Sam Holmes here?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we both did, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We all had the pleasure, though not together, unfortunately, of hanging out with Sam for a couple days. So Sam got in. You guys met him in Horta, right?
Yeah.
And so Sam arrived after these guys left to go on their adventure to Paris and the States, and Sam showed up when we were still here before we left on our adventure to Turkey.
To England.
To England, rather, yeah. And we sort of just actually, I happened to just pop out of the hatch as he was rolling across the marina on his way, and I went, "Hey!" And he just waved back. Like we sort of had briefly chatted on Instagram, and we just sort of immediately knew. So went straight over to the boat. Actually, he came straight over to our boat, and we had a beer and then another beer, and then we went out for dinner and had some more beers, and
He's a really,
he's
really lovely guy.
an incredible guy.
He's really nice, and he's very, I think he's very humble, and his achievements have just been absolutely astounding. But what I like about him is that he's just so like, oh yeah, I just crossed the Pacific on my own.
so understated.
He's always smiling. always smiling. He could just be like, "Oh yeah, I just found a dead dog." Or like he would just say, he would make
His
any terrible
passage
news
up to
just
the UK,
great.
He blew out his mane, and I watched the video. He came upstairs and he was like,
Yeah.
blown out of the mane, I guess. It kind of sucks.
He does do that. Like Sam lives at this limit between genius and completely crazy. Like he's right at that border, but he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Arvino, who will be the first to complete the big circle?
Oh, okay. Can you clarify where is the
big
starting and
circle?
ending point of the big circle?
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah,
Somebody-
I mean, this is a question. We have to define the circle.
the
I
big
think
circle?
the end. We can define the end as Antigua. That would be pretty much.
Well,
a
in theory, we all did meet in the Azores.
Oh, the Atlantic
so-
Circle. Okay, right.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Or maybe that's the world circle.
Yeah, I was like, is this the world?
Yeah, I was more thinking that it's the world. Somebody mentioned that the sound is a little awkward for the guys, so we're gonna have to try to move the mic around. So
Okay.
we're gonna have a sliding mic.
Unfortunately, as females, our voices are very high pitched, and
Should
I
put the
always
dudes
need to
in the
adjust
middle.
the volume down on mine and up on Adam's whenever we're editing.
Do you guys
So-
have that problem? Like different voices have different.
Adam's always like, and so today we went here, and then I'll pop up and be like, and we did this, and it's so much higher.
I sound like a chainsaw when I do my dubbing, so I have to be very soft and gentle, and it's still pretty coarse. And Khiara sounds like Mary Poppins.
Okay, so Arvino, around the world. It's probably
Round the
gonna be
world.
you guys.
Around the world.
I would say it's
It's a
probably
long
gonna
way
be you.
around.
That is.
I don't know.
All right.
At this stage, if we
well,
want to get back to Australia, that's kind of our only option. So
Yeah.
unless we want to be refugees for the rest of our life.
We've got to go a long way to really get back home. I love how initially that was our plan, and nowadays we're like, yeah, there's such a big wide world out there.
Well, it's a weird
Plus, we
thing.
can't really get back there.
To, I guess, elaborate on that question, you're sailing. It starts out as a dream, and then you do it, and then when you start getting some traction, all of these other options open up that you didn't even consider, and then you start to sort of do videos and the whole, and you make connections, and more opportunities open up, and more again, and eventually you're like, it's not about just going around in a circle anymore. It's about pursuing what you love and trying to like just keep doing it forever. And obviously we absolutely want to go all the way around, but if we have to make detours all along the way, both, you know, whether it be geographical detours or career detours or whatever, like I'm open. Like the sky's the limit. I have no idea where we're going to take all of this, but it's certainly not going to begin and end at a single lap. And that's all she wrote. Not for us anyway.
But if it is a race, we'll totally win.
We'll do it with style.
No, so the one thing that us having a green card do is that we're gonna have to be in the US for a little while until my green card is not conditional anymore. So in 2022 we're gonna be at the East Coast quite a bit, and then we're gonna go down to the US Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and then I'm hoping Hawaii
Yeah, we'll see.
and Alaska. Who knows? Who knows?
That
So
sounds
that's
like awesome plans, though.
it will be good, but the thing is, we may not be able to leave the US.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, the US is a pretty big place. So
Yeah. Is that why you're
Um,
doing like 2 ocean crossings this year? So you're just like
Get
travel.
it over
Oh,
that.
Lord.
yeah, we just needed to get some miles because we wanted to sail. All right. This is a cool question, guys. What are the most 3 important items when you want to cross an ocean?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a great
Yeah.
question. Thanks, Jan.
Okay. Water.
Yeah,
Alright.
should we exclude food, water, and shelter and a life raft
It
and all
feels
those
pretty-
obvious
It
things?
feels pretty basic. Yeah, like
Okay.
let's think creatively here.
Okay.
What are your 3 items?
For me, I really, really do like having snacks and chocolate because they really uplift my day.
Tea.
And
coffee.
tea would help too. You know, for me, I really feel like that there is somewhat important. Otherwise, Iridium Go as well, because just getting in touch with family and friends, like it entertains us throughout the day, and a day which could be a bit boring. You'd suddenly like, oh, I wonder what this person's doing, and how are they tracking on their journey? And you know, you can actually message people. It's like a big, you know, for us that was really important. And obviously downloading weather, which once again occupies your day because it takes about an hour to download a weather report. That's all right. I need to think of my third one. One from your side of the
I
table.
would just add like my biggest
Your
thing is
microphone.
that I think why you can't hear is because you lean in front of me. You block the microphone from me. But I think my biggest thing is just like something to do during the days.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at reading and like listening to like Sophie listens to like books and podcasts all day long, and I just like I'm bad at it. So what I end up doing is just sitting in the like staring off in the ocean for like 2 weeks.
That is
And I'm just like it's so bored, you know. And that's one of the reasons I have I think a bit harder time with ocean crossings than you do.
My number one item would be a water maker.
You're so practical. I led you to that question.
But it's not. It's not water. It is because you're gonna carry water no matter what, you know. But like the water maker, the first time around we did not have it. It was not operating. The second time around we had it and it was amazing.
So what's the difference between having one and not having one when you're underway?
It's the pressure of saving water as much as possible, especially when you shower.
Do you shower much underway?
How much water do you carry?
We have 350 liters in tanks. And then we carry probably 20 to 30, 40, 20, somewhere between 20 and 40 liters, like in those little jugs, the 5-liter jugs. We just carry them in the bilge as backup.
Yeah, I get that.
And then we just shower we try to always we just use the bow tank all the time.
Oh, that's good.
So we just down the water maker, and then if something fails, we still have the aft tank.
Yeah.
And then all the reserve water.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you think that's enough for 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
No, but
or do you just want to be able to shower as much as you can and just have a comfortable time?
Oh yeah, you like to take lots of showers.
It certainly helps morale, so I won't begrudge you that.
For me, the ability to take a shower, and it doesn't need to be like a full shower a day, but just like rinse, it completely changes my experience of a day.
Yeah, I get
Whenever we have a motoring day where the water, like when the water from the engine's hot, immediately Adam's like, he's like, oh, we had to motor. Yeah, I'll have a shower though.
Shower.
So it's like morale instantly boosted with the shower. So I totally get where you're coming from. What are yours? You haven't answered any.
I kind of agree with Ryan. You need something to do, something to think about, or a project, like something to study. Anything to keep your brain occupied other than the daily chores. What else?
Because there really isn't much to do.
No,
like you set it up in a way that you shouldn't have much to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's like
the boat working the way it should.
If it's working, you're just like
monitoring.
this is a little bit boring,
Yeah.
Like so.
And we did go through a stage where it was like 4 days where we didn't actually have to adjust any sails or even do anything to do with the hydrovane. 4 days, and that's a long time. Like.
Yeah.
What do you do when you don't even need to sail?
Larry, thank you so much for the super chat. And yes, we will come to Massachusetts. Hopefully, we'll sail along the entire East Coast this next year. Thanks for the super chat. Yay!
Oh, they got tanks. Cool.
All right. This is the $1 million questions. And I think that your boat and our boat would be different. But let's...
Okay. Oh,
well,
okay.
It depends on the boat, right?
How much money too?
And how much money?
Mhm.
Like, are we
brand new or
crazy
secondhand?
wealthy?
Okay.
Or are we...
First question maybe is if it was brand new.
Yeah.
Second question is if it's secondhand.
Yeah.
And we had like the same kind of
but I
budget.
think
if you would
they're
buy
asking-
a boat, would it be brand new or second?
Oh, if you
So-
would buy a boat,
Would it be
okay.
brand new or secondhand?
So I suppose the presumption is that it's assumed we can have either.
Yeah.
Which way would you go?
Yes.
Oof.
I think I'd have to go secondhand because it's a hard proposition. It depends what you want to do. If you can earn while you're away and you're not on a cruising kitty or drawing down on some savings or retired and you've got a limited kitty, then it's a different situation because you could probably buy the new thing and live off you're still at work essentially. So you could probably get away with it and you might have a better selection or have less heartache. If that's not the case, I would go secondhand because you lose 30% as soon as you drive it off the lot, and then you've still got issues, and you won't have that if you buy secondhand. And if you shop well, you can find a really nice specimen of a boat for someone else has done all the hard yards, and come out with what you want for much less, and thus have a lot of extra cash to cruise with.
I agree with that, except if you want something like there are boats that you just can't find secondhand or very hard.
Yeah.
So that would be, but yeah, like buying a new doesn't necessarily bring you less problems.
Yes.
And in some cases it brings you more problems.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents on that.
I think most people have said, because we've never bought a new boat, but I think when most people have said that they've bought a new boat, they've had wear-in issues. You know, like every boat when it goes out, you have problems with like, oh, this wasn't plugged in as planned, and this didn't work as planned, and so like I think every boat is going to have that. And the same as when you buy a new boat, you're making it work for you as well. Like, sorry, when you're buying a secondhand boat, you're making it work for you. There is issues as well. Pretty much.
Yeah,
boats.
I agree.
Issues.
I think that if Ryan and I were to buy a new boat, it would probably be a Garcia. And it would probably be either a brand new or a secondhand. It doesn't matter. It just...
It's gonna have like branding all up the sides.
They don't even sell in France. Well,
all right, I just need to give a big shout out to Scott, who's inviting us for dinner tonight.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Scott. That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice of you.
All right, this is a good question. I like this one. So Dimitri asked us if we would trade boat for, say, 3 months, given start and end are in the same place.
Whoa, good question.
I think I would.
Yeah, I would too.
I can hear it in Adam's voice, like, and I'm like the same. I'm like.
Okay, so I actually thought that
it's not because I don't trust you guys with the boat. It's because I don't want anything to happen. I'd be mortified if something happened on the boat and you guys had to deal with it. I'd be absolutely mortified.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's what it is, not because I'm like, oh, they'll trash my boat.
A holding tank exploded. Oh yeah, good luck with that, guys.
The boat, yeah. The toilet pipe, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a bunch of jobs here.
Here's your list.
I mean, a boat is such a personal thing, right? Like, it's you really make it yours, and you have your way of doing things. So when you come back to your boat after those 3 months, there are going to be things that are all moved around. It's like, what the fuck? What were they doing here? Or what, and it's like, even though like I would trust you guys with our boat, I don't know if I'd know how to reverse your boat.
We'll do the exchange at anchor, from anchor.
Okay,
back to
anchor to anchor.
But I think that like we've chartered a Beneteau 38 when we were first kind of learning to sail, and to see whether I could even withstand sailing with my seasickness. And so the best thing for us was to charter a boat for 10 days to see whether we could even live on a boat before we bought one. At this stage, it was a month before or 2 months before we were planning to even go and buy our own boat. So a little late in the game, but at least we did it.
Good. And
so we stayed on there for 10 days, and I just don't know enough about Beneteaus and this kind of boat. After 10 days, I would just want to try it because there are so many out there.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why everyone's sailing them, and they look a lot more luxurious than ours. Ours is like you get down and dirty in, kind of a boat. And so this, I would like to experience your life like this.
When we met, and I mean obviously we have such a terrible time when we're together and everything is so boring, but I thought, oh gosh, what kind of cool videos could we do together? And I thought that maybe if we exchanged boat for like a week or so, it would be fun. I kept it in my head because I was thinking through the logistics of that, and I felt the same way as you, Adam. I was like, if we do anything to their boat, I would feel so awful. Like I trust you with Paul this
Maybe
year.
we could do it for a day. Like maybe if we find because we're going to be moving in the same circuit.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go like one morning, switch dinghies, like
try to go
crew, and then
sail the boat.
hoist anchor at the same time, and just go the same way.
that.
And we'll never be more than a mile from
That
each
would be.
other.
I would be.
Constant VHF range, and we could just vlog the day.
That would be so fun.
Guys, what do you
crashing
think?
with each other's
Would that be a fun video to make? I feel that it could be
hilarious.
I think that it could be really funny.
I think it would be.
We may not be friends after we watch the videos and be like, God, they're really trashing on us.
Oh no!
What is this?
We would never do that.
No, if it's someone's home, like you just don't do that.
I think you might be like, how do I tack this
That's
fucking
what I'm
jigger?
saying.
I can't get it through the stay.
Yeah.
Ah,
What are
Yeah.
these lines?
what do I do with this
I
stupid
know.
staysel?
Obviously, we would need to brief each other before,
Yeah,
and that is what would
Yeah.
make it interesting.
I think you would, like you'd need to bring them out. Like we'd need to go on a sailing trip on your boat, and you'd
And
need
then-
to come for a sailing trip on our boat.
You know what I would like though? I guess it's in addition to this. Perhaps as the pre-brief, I want to go out on this boat on a really on a day that would be a pain in the ass for my boat and see the difference and how much.
Yeah.
you know,
Interesting.
And then
What
I
would
want to
be
go out on a really bad day
Yeah.
with my boat, so
Like
you guys can see what
Yeah.
the weight does. You know,
Yeah.
like we can
Like
see
a
the
light, like a
the
light wind
virtues
kind of
of the
day. I'd
two
like to go on your
designs.
boat.
yeah.
With our new spinnaker.
Yeah, there you
With
go.
the taco on it. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
so glad you brought that over. I was like,
surprise.
I think it's time for port.
it's time for port wine, guys. Okay. Ed has a very interesting question. Are we going to team up together on any boat project while we are together?
Well,
Can we say that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Say
of
that?
course.
sure.
So, big announcement. You heard it here first, everyone. The Millennial Falcon's going lithium thanks to Dakota Lithium and obviously these guys. So we're all traveling together to the Canaries, and we'll team up and join forces. And Ryan has very kindly offered to help us get our ducks all in a row and get the Falcon kitted out with lithium. And we're over the moon because it's going to be life changing.
Yep.
Uh,
and at the moment we are really, really feeling it because it's a lot cloudier here than in the Caribbean. Yeah, no shits. But
Adam, do you want some port?
yes, please.
so we're really
Thank you.
feeling it, and Adam keeps saying every day, "Oh, just wait until we get that lithium. Oh, just wait until we get those lithium batteries. It's going to change our life.
I'm
It's going to be
mentally
so much
shopping.
better." He really is. He really is. So
Well,
I
the
think
problem
for
we
us
have
it
is that
would
we
be
can't
a good,
work.
great project.
You know, like it gets to the point now where you have, you know, if we both want to work at the same time, we can't do it because the batteries will not recover for days. And so
Yeah.
you sort of reach a point where we have all this content we want to release, but we can't work because we can't keep the laptops working and thus can't edit.
You get to
So
run the engine or
It
something.
really
like
will
that.
be game changing because we can work harder and work more and release more content and do more of what we like doing. And that's just the obvious benefit. Then there's, you know, induction cooking and water makers that we can now carry and just generally less stress on the system, which is it's going to be life-changing.
We're actually going to do a couple boats. Sophie's in the way of my audio waves.
What's that button on the back? Did I just mute that?
No, it's okay. We're good. You guys can still hear us. Everything is good.
We're going to do like
Let
a
us know.
big lithium boat install party all at the same time in the Canaries. So it'd be like a couple different boats. There'll be lots of swearing. And
Yeah, everybody that comes gets free lithium, right? Yeah.
that.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, my heart just stopped for a second. Oh. 40 boats roll up. It's like,
So we
no,
won't tell
don't
you
do
where
that.
it is. How about
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah, that could be a fun
Where or
challenge.
when? Yeah.
If you come catch the policy of the first boat to catch us and get the red flag off the back,
Yeah.
gets free lithium.
He's like, yeah. Tell him to shut up. Tell him to shut up.
Somebody hit him. Actually, I kind of like this idea a little bit.
It
I'm
could be
gonna
fun,
I'm gonna
right?
take this as maybe a marketing idea.
like a great, like the
Some
amazing
great-
race.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Catch the seal.
Maybe it's not even on our boat. Maybe it's on just like a random boat.
Oh yeah.
It's like the big DL flag, and if it just goes
Yeah.
around,
whoever gets the flag.
yeah.
Gets the lithium.
Our friend Craig, who we've been traveling with, we just got a message from him going, "Get the electric kettle."
yeah.
Yeah. No,
We said
we said that we would
We said you get-
we would sponsor you with the electric kettle. We would give you an electric
We're gonna put a
kettle.
polar,
Welcome to the
we're gonna
lithium
put a
family.
polar seal sticker on it. But, yeah.
No, but it's really cool when I speak for Ryan because I have no part in this, but it's really cool when you are in a place where you can help your friends. And I cannot wait for you guys to have lithium on board because I know that we started with AGM and I know the difference that it made in our lives. And
Yeah.
I cannot wait for you guys to have the same comfort. Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you,
I'll
Dakota
drink to
Lithium.
Pass me the-
Oh, Adam's
the
up for
no,
some
the
port.
port.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Adam. Oh, you get a
It's
big
okay.
glass. Here.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so
Just for
James
you.
asks, what's your top future destination that you haven't been to yet? Destinations one couple would recommend to the other. That is cool.
Ooh,
Where have
good
you been?
question.
So that would not be Saint Martin. Sorry. That was mean. That was mean. I just do not have great memories of Saint Martin.
Where would I recommend?
I think out of any, so there are obviously places where it's like top future destinations, which could be anywhere, but ones that were in the next year, maybe. I would say Bahamas. We haven't been to yet. I really want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. That's not a suggestion because we haven't been there.
It sounds sort of like low hanging fruit, but I want to go there.
I feel like we're gonna hang out in the Bahamas.
Probably
I feel that's how it's gonna end up. I would recommend that you guys go to Cape Verde.
Really?
If we can,
I'm
and
interested.
if COVID-19 allows us to, because it can be a little bit complicated. Cape Verde was such a gem of a destination and such a little pearl that we get to visit when we were there on our way to Martinique when we crossed the first time. And if you can, I really recommend that you stop there.
That's
it's
good.
great.
I was actually thinking about giving that one a miss, but if that's your destination that you're like, you have to go there, all right, I'm sold.
Oh yeah, it's worth going at least once. Yeah.
I would say
definitely.
Tobago Keys in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's possibly one of my favorite places.
Oh yeah. And Beckway, which is right next door.
Yeah.
So you used to be able to check in there, but I don't know about it now.
I would say for that, just snorkeling was amazing. There's lots of fish life there, sea life, and beautiful blue water. Probably similar to the Bahamas. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite places.
Okay. So Emery Gorgon, I hope I pronounced this right. My girlfriend is scared of being at sea for a long time. Any suggestions how to convince her?
Ooh.
So that's a tough one. But if your girlfriend is afraid to be at sea for a very long time, I would recommend, taking her out for short periods until she's comfortable with the short periods, and then maybe take her out for a night sail on a night where the weather is nice. And then you can progressively increase. But yeah, don't take your girlfriend out on an Atlantic crossing first time she goes offshore.
I mean, another option is like as you progress slowly into things and just get sailing and make sure that she likes it and like the seasickness isn't a problem, is to go with one of these like Andy Shell does that goes offshore with paid crew, and to get the experience where you're in what I would define as a little bit more safe environment. There's a lot of crew on board. There's some very experienced people, and then it's going to just make you feel safer as a person, I think, because there's that experience. Yeah. As opposed to maybe just 2 or 3 people on the boat and everybody's
it's a very different proposition to be alone or with just the two of you versus like a group of people who are not strangers, if you will. It's everybody kind of gets their head screwed on a little bit tighter when there's strangers around and crew around. So I would absolutely. It's good advice.
If you know that you only need to be on the deck for 2 watches a day,
the sliding microphone.
2 watches a day for a few hours, like that takes a bit of pressure off you too. It's not your boat, like if something breaks, you're probably not going to have to fix. It's like all those little things. You just can get rid of that and just get the experience of being offshore. I think that's good.
I think in addition to that, you need to do whatever you need to do to facilitate deconstructing her fear. So and what Sophie said is dead on. Baby steps. Yeah. And what your goal, I think, should be is to get her to the point where the realization comes from her naturally that she's now just living life underway, and day to day it doesn't really change. And then if you temper that with the notion that there is a certain line past which you're kind of screwed either way, whether you're 500 miles, 1,000 miles, or you're 100 miles, you're in the raft. And it's either a chopper or a boat that's coming to get you. And once you realize that, it's like, well, once you cross that coastal sailing threshold where a quick boat can come and get you or a chopper can be there like that, it's all the same.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. And so if you can creep up on that and then sort of say, look, doesn't matter if we go 200 miles or 2,000 miles, the outcome will be the same. And we've established now that every day underway is just another day, and we're comfortable underway as we are at anchor, which should be your goal. I think once you can sort of have those couple of realizations, then you'll be much, much, much more comfortable taking on big passages.
All right, how much port is left? We still have a full bottle, so I think
it's about that much.
We're going good, like
that much.
We're going to be here as long as you guys think that it's fun to watch us drink port.
And did you know that port? I always used to think that port was quite a old person thing. But port, as you told me the other day, comes from Porto in Portugal.
It's probably because we're getting older now.
Yeah, that's true. We are old fogies after all.
This is a really fun question, and I love it because it is something that we have in common. What editing software do we use? Do you discuss it between yourselves? Do all four of you edit? That's okay. 3 questions. So we use different editing softwares.
We do. Yeah.
I use Premiere Pro, and you use
Final Cut Pro.
All right. And so what's interesting, and it's been so great hanging out with you because it's so rare that we can talk about what we do with other people who know.
Yeah, exactly.
And the big difference between Adam and Khiara and me and Ryan is that you guys both work on the channel.
Yes.
And whereas I do 95% of what you guys see, I do all of the editing,
It's true.
Yeah.
Although I've been doing a lot of filming this last week.
You have?
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody asked somebody asked when Ryan's Tech Corner videos would be back. They're going to be back soon because you were doing a lot of filming with that.
I've been doing a lot of filming.
But yeah, it's like
whether or not it's good filming is
the only place where Ryan really produces content is on Patreon, I think, because that's where you write.
Yeah.
That's where like people get in touch with you. Otherwise, 95% of what you see is what I do. And if we discuss it between ourselves, yes, we do.
So actually, this last week we've
so good.
got so very much like what Sophie did in Paris. She scouted out a workspace here in where are we? Ponta Delgada. I swear I've only had the one glass of port. I swear. And so she said, "Hey, it's 45 euros for the whole week." And I said, "Yes, please sign me up." So we've been hanging out this last week for a few days of this week, sitting next to each other in an office, which is really, really strange. Now, Adam and I do work, we both edit. So what we've been doing is that our usual style is that Adam creates bit of storylines.
I do so you get all the footage and I sort of do the long, I think we can all agree that I tell a long story. And so I do the rough cut long story arc, and I'll sort of write the little dubbing bits that need to bridge any gaps in the story and whatnot. And then Khiara takes that and she makes it concise and beautiful and eloquent and sort of trims the fat, if you will, and turns it into something that someone would want to watch. So I just go, right, here's the story I want to tell. Here's the high moments, the low moments. Here's the music. This is the journey we're going on, everybody. And then Khiara takes that and makes it worth watching.
But I think that sitting next to you all week and knowing now, I guess I didn't really think about it before, but knowing that we have double the amount of people to do our workload, I am astounded that you managed to produce like such good quality videos. And I know that I'm just like, oh my God, you're amazing. But like, honestly, you do work really, really hard. And I'm so impressed that you,
you guys are,
stuff that you do.
I had a glass of port. I'm going to cry. Don't make me cry. Do not make me cry. Cheers.
Just sobbing into her port.
No, but I get emotional. Don't do that.
But she does a really good job. And I've sat next to her and I can see that she works so hard. And Adam and I have half as much load to share. So she's very good. She's doing very well.
Thank you. That was very nice.
Yes, we've editing software. We have tried using Premiere Pro before, and we didn't learn on it. We learned on Final Cut Pro. We then tried to learn on Premiere Pro, and Premiere Pro was a lot more of a learning curve because it's so in depth. And so we went back to Final Cut Pro.
We had a bad experience with it. Like we had a Mac die on us, and we.
No, you too.
Yeah, right. And we were like, "That's it. I'm done with Apple." And we got a Dell, an XPS 15, I think it is, for the tech guys and girls. And we went to Adobe because I was like, "Well, let's just try to use Adobe because it is, in my opinion, the heavy hitter product. It has more functionality." I thought, let's move into the mainstream. And we had a really bad time with it, trying to find like a stable version. And we were in Bermuda where the Wi-Fi is really dodgy and we couldn't get it to work. And what I actually think in hindsight, it was maybe a combination between bad timing for the product because it was a fresh version. And they hadn't got it
okay.
right.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
also the laptop, I actually think, is a bit of a lemon, because since then we've moved back to Apple and moved back to Final Cut Pro.
And
but
Adam
I
has
use
gamed multiple times on the Dell.
I now use the Dell just to play games and things, and it doesn't really perform as advertised. And so I think it's a combination of a few reasons.
Yeah.
2 reasons that we went back to Final Cut Pro, and for what we do at the speed and that we have to do it, I'm perfectly happy with the capabilities that Final Cut provides. It's just the learning curve for a new thing and that's not to say we don't always want to be better, but you have to do one of these a week, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a certain time where finished is better than perfect.
Yes.
And so you gotta, like, you know, if we worked on everything forever, we'd all go broke, because the story would disintegrate into nothing. You'd be waiting 6 months for a 20-minute video, and that would be the end of it.
And you know, after all this, Sam Holmes uses his iPhone to edit.
Yeah.
Sam is my hero on so many levels.
You can do it in anything.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest advice. Like I would give to anyone who wants to do this too, is don't let your gear and your equipment and your editing stuff and the YouTube algorithm and all that crap, don't let that get in the way of just doing a good story. You know?
Exactly, of the story, because at the end of the day, that's what's the most important.
Exactly.
If you spend as much time getting out there with a camera and doing something fun, a story worth telling, as you did trying to hack the system, you'd have much more success, because it's all about the story. And Sam is the living embodiment of that sentiment, because
and the
he does
thumbnail.
it with his,
because like Sam is good clickbait.
And the thumbnail.
Let's be
well,
real. Sam is.
It's not even bait when Sam does it though, because he's really
solo sailing,
like alone in the Atlantic. It's like, well,
he really was.
I was trying to say that Sam is good looking. You're the best.
It's right next
Nice
to you,
Sophie.
I was trying to be nice. Okay. Jules asked if we're going to be taking crew for the crossings. How about you guys?
We have considered it. We pride ourselves on being very independent. And trying to do everything we can. You know, if you can do it by us, we can do it by ourselves. We can do it with crew. And also there was that element of the boat exchange. I'd be mortified if I brought someone in and the passage just went to custard and they were now sort of in hot water because
we've had interesting experiences with taking crew, and it's not that they did not like it, but they were seasick for 5 days.
Oh, yeah. 5 days.
When you take crew, you're partially responsible for them, and I know that's everybody makes their own choices, and we're all adults and whatnot. But I do feel a certain level of responsibility, and the boat, our boat, is getting to the stage now where I feel comfortable that we've got out in front of all the potential disasters, and she's sort of almost at fighting weight, if you will. And so now we want to start having that experience, sharing the journey with crew and sort of slowly opening the doors, I guess you could say.
So we are thinking about it, not quite decided.
Yeah. Jules, are you putting your name in the hat? That's the question for Jules.
What about you guys?
So we have this project. I don't know if it's going to see the light of day. It depends on many factors, but we were thinking about having me skipper the boat without Ryan on board for this. That will be our 3rd crossing. And I'm very attached to this project. I just need to find the crew that I feel is going to be like girls that I can rely on, that I
only
love.
Girls.
Yeah. That's the point, is to take the girlfriends.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
But I can't have you get more ocean crossings than me, so I got to find another boat to go on.
Ooh.
So
she's giving me the eyes. She's
looking at you, lady.
It's very.
I mean, you're welcome.
I already got boat offers. So
you're welcome. You're welcome to join if you want.
Okay.
If you want, there's a water maker.
Showers all the time.
Showers every day.
The problem is,
I can guarantee that passage will run out of water in the first week. I promise you that. I'll put money on it.
Adam, do you guys have a freezer? Like, because if I went with you, we would
have to pre-plan.
Yeah, we would die.
The ladies would have to cook our lunches.
Yeah, we would lose like 15 kilos each of us. We don't really have 15 kilos.
So aboard,
to lose.
we're the cookers, and these are the eaters.
Yeah.
Or or lack of when they're on their own together. So I just think we'd see them at the end of the passage after none of them had cooked or thought about eating.
We'd look like
for
Tom
2
Hanks
weeks.
in Castaway. Come out there, we're like, what year is it?
Meanwhile, we'll be like, we've arrived.
Glistening, sparkling, clean.
I'll just
Dehydrated, but clean.
I'll just put it out there for you, Khiara. But we carry ice cream on our things.
Now this is bribery.
I love ice cream.
But if you run out, there might be a mutiny. So,
No, because ice cream is not necessarily the best thing that we eat on board Polar Seal. Because I make pretty good desserts. I make tiramisu.
Oh my
I
God.
make chocolate fondant.
You know
make
what?
pies.
You might be not selling this to me because I'm just going to end up rolling off your boat, and I'll be like, "Well, that's the end of her YouTube career."
So this is.
I can see the clickbait now. I gained 60 pounds crossing the Atlantic. It's like
It was like a cruise ship.
All right, this is a very interesting question from Orga Satrio. Hi, Orga. Do you guys think about quitting YouTube and becoming regular sailors?
What do you mean? I guess that implies we're not regular sailors now.
I think what
what's
they
a
mean is
regular
like.
sailor?
I think what they mean, because we've had that discussion.
We've
Sometimes.
had
It's
that
like,
discussion.
Do you just like stop showing your sailing life and just going to living, like doing your own thing without
We have
telling your story?
I think we have considered it, and sometimes when we're a little overwhelmed with work, and when I say overwhelmed with work, like when we don't have enough content, and it's like you're up to the line and you don't know what you're going to produce that week. Sometimes I wish that we didn't have a YouTube channel to like constantly have to put content on, and that we could just go sailing off and it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
But you do need to think a lot more about, okay, today I'm going to go. Today I'm going to install a chart plotter. Right, so I'm going to need full batteries. I'm going to need everything. I'm going to need Adam and board to film. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need the wire. And it's a big project. Everything's a big project. And so I understand where you're coming from, where it's like a normal sailor just installs the chart plotter. Whereas we have a big production around installing a chart plotter. Same goes for like if you want to go sailing. Well, then we've got to film that anchor coming up. It's really interesting. And
got to tell the story.
Exactly. And so, yes, look, it is tempting to just get on with our lives sometimes and not film everything. We have had that conversation. I don't know whether we will completely... I don't think necessarily that means completely quitting YouTube, but sometimes we have those days and those weeks where we just want to stop filming.
But that's all tempered by loving what you do too. Like I think we
right.
all like we look at what we're doing now. Look where we are. We're answering a question from someone who watched this show. There's I don't know how many people here, but there's lots of people here.
There's 480 people. Adam.
Oh my god! Hey guys! Hi everyone! Thanks for tuning in.
And there's like a small percentage of those people who don't ask me why, but they're taking value of this port drinking marathon. But the videos themselves,
3/4.
Why would you not? Like you're providing a value, providing a service that costs you nothing to make, and people can get it for free. And if they find enough value, they help us keep doing it, and it all gets to keep going, and it grows from there. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I love what I do. I love I love sailing. I love learning about sailing. I love sitting down with people. I love listening to people. I love talking to people. I like fixing things. I get more engineering experience and more applications of what I used to do doing this than I ever did doing that. There's for me, there's no going back. So let me put it this way. The only way I'd go back to being a regular sailor is if I found another way to make a living as a sailor. So I'll never be a regular person.
A regular sailor
again.
I think it's so great hanging out with you guys because of course we also ask ourselves that question, and I think it's healthy to sometimes sit down, hit the pause button, and question what you're doing. And we ask ourselves the question once a year as well.
Yeah.
What do we do? Do we continue making YouTube videos, or should I try doing something else? I don't know. I love making YouTube videos, but the reality is that it's not completely your thing. You love what comes out of it in terms of the community, the people that we meet, the friends that we make. Like, I don't think that we would have met you without YouTube.
Yeah.
I like doing a lot of the tech stuff too. Like, and we get a lot of emails from people that have questions, and I love
answering,
like working with people on helping to solve their problems. But yeah, being on the camera for me isn't always
the most
as
fun
most
thing.
people know.
Yes.
Which I feel guilty about sometimes, to be honest, because I feel like the biggest hindrance to our channel is me sometimes. And that's
don't
it's
say
really
that.
it's no, but it's really
We love
hard
you.
because
So what is it about it that you?
no, you know, sometimes
Is it like?
I've had a lot of stuff in my life that it's like it's just recorded so you can be judged later. There's a lot of, you know, and flying
I
and
get
in
that.
aviation,
Oh,
you know,
I
and
see.
it's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
you know, you're just on the film, so somebody,
it's that like
yeah, and it's
kangaroo
like,
court critique sort
Yeah.
of thing. You're always being
Hang on,
second guessed by this invisible.
mm.
Yeah, I feel that. I do.
Yeah.
I admit I feel that.
And it's just
often.
like, and I'm sure you guys have had this too. Sometimes when things aren't going right, it's this, and then the camera comes out. That's the time the camera should come out, and I know
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But it's also, I don't know that in the moment.
Yep.
So it's like the camera gets put in my face. And I'm like, get that camera out of my face,
Yeah.
you know, and it
Yeah.
just like escalates.
See, I don't do
the
that. I
problem.
just go, yeah, like we're really struggling here. And so if you see me like smiling
Yeah.
in a fake way, that's me like I am struggling, you know.
Yeah.
So
But-
like you can't have your real feelings.
But I think some of that, like in the many discussions Sophie and I have had about the camera, I think one of the things that Sophie started doing after our last Atlantic crossing was just showing it all. So like when
Yeah.
I'm like stressed and you're showing that is there, because that's a real thing for many sailors that are out there.
For
Like
sure.
the sail rips and they're not Sam Holmes. They're just like, and they, you know, then it's a major problem and they're trying, and then there's a
Yeah.
lot of swearing and there's a lot of like,
yeah,
you know,
you're
and,
right.
but the flip side of that is that's what goes on. But then when you see that in a very comfortable home, staring it on your TV, you then assume that person is just
Going off the deep end.
they're an asshole.
Yeah.
And there are cases where I have not been very nice to Sophie because of things that have happened, and I probably was an asshole. But there's other times it's like, this is just kind of the reality. It's like, it's
Yeah.
shitty right now, and
Yeah.
I come across.
But I think it's really good though. Like if you've said that, and if you've openly said that, you know, you haven't been very nice sometimes on camera, that means that you really are filming everything and you're keeping everything in there, which
Yeah.
is fantastic. Because so many people and so many sailing channels would not put that in, and it's fantastic that you actually have, because it's
Yeah.
like, well, that's real life.
Sophie does
I mean-
edit some things.
So no,
Oh, yeah,
the-
we all edit something.
We all edit
I
creative
think
editing.
there was a video in Malta where I was installing some wires, and there was, I think the line I said on the camera that you did keep was, and I'm just the effing asshole that everyone hates on YouTube or something like that. And she was like, okay. And then you went to edit that video and you removed a lot of my swearing. And then
I concentrated it.
and then
to-
people when they
One big
people when they watched it were like, is that all? That wasn't too bad. Like some of the guys, they're like, that was pretty mild breakdown. And we're like,
yeah.
maybe we should have showed the whole thing.
You should have just had like a whole scene of like bleep 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 bleep
You know
bleep
when
bleep.
they cut the network feed, just like.
Oh yeah, no, but
Oh, we've
Adam,
done that.
Adam, I have used all the techniques.
to mask the
hide-
profanity.
To edit
Swearing.
around.
No, yeah, but just to show that those things happen.
Yeah.
we're all humans. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I do not aspire to be aspirational as a person.
No.
I just
yes.
But I think one thing that's happened, we said this on our Patreon live this weekend, is that my skill as like being able to understand and fix the boat is kind of going, like the curve is going up, right? Like that's
Yeah.
going up. And my understanding and patience is of like how long things are gonna, like the realism scale, right? As being like unrealistic up here and very realistic down here is like, okay, I know that this project isn't going to take a day anymore. It's probably going to take 3 days now.
Yes.
Right,
And
yeah.
so
correct.
those curves are finally
Yes.
starting to like cross.
Yeah.
You're getting a realistic.
So
notion
then
of-
the stress level goes way
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
because
You're right.
you know you're operating
10
more
bolts will break and you will need to take 10 trips to the shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
like, it's like I was doing this thing. Sorry, I'm getting long-winded, but I was
yeah, I
doing
was
this
like,
thing.
we're still on that question.
I was-
That's like
Sorry,
I was
guys.
doing this thing. I was installing this piece of equipment this weekend, and I was like, man, I said to myself, man, this is going so fast. It's so good. As I was like putting in the final screws, and I broke the heads off 2 screws in the thing. I was like, I managed to get them out, but I was just like, old Ryan would have gone flipped out, and I just like, okay, it's happened.
Okay, next question.
All right, guys, let's all say hi to Mary.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Hi, Mom.
that's Ryan's mom.
Aww,
She's legitimately our biggest fan. Hi, Mary. We miss you a lot. It's
Your son is a gentleman and a scholar.
I paid him a lot of money to say that.
a lot of import wine. Do you guys ever follow any other YouTube channels or podcasts? That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Hi, Tim.
I think for the longest time, so for the first year, we never had data. We didn't pick up any data plan or SIM cards. And so, no, when you don't have data, you can't watch anything. Second year, we started to pick up a 50 gig a month plan, which means that we had limited amounts of stuff. Fair enough that we probably use like 30 gig of that uploading. So we have 20 gig left for like everything else, which means that we had limited.
A little bit to play with.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to spend it on that.
Exactly. So to be honest, we don't really watch much.
Recent times, generally, my rule is that it's a slippery slope, because if you watch everybody and you try to, you spend your life on YouTube consuming content, it detracts from your ability to create content, because you feel
I feel the same way.
No matter what you do, you feel like you're ripping someone off, so it's
or
best,
you're not good enough.
or you're not,
or they're having more adventures than you,
and nobody puts forward
or they have a better attitude.
Be real. They put forward their A-reel, because it's all curated and whatnot. But when you compare yourself, you think about you're probably sitting there in your underwear in front of your laptop watching YouTube. So that's kind of the DEF reel, and it's just a recipe to feel less than inspired and confident about what you're doing. And so, generally speaking, if we've met them, talked to them, had a crossover of some sort, like crossed path, like I met Sam. I now have Sam on all my follow lists, I know where Sam is. I like following Sam. I'm happy for Sam because I know the man. He's a friend. I consider, same with these guys. Like, I now have met them. I know them. No matter what they do, no matter how successful they are, I'll just be happy for them, and I won't feel shit, because I can just say, "Congrats on the 5 million."
It's less daunting, because
it's like they're human.
You know what happens behind.
Are we friends, Adam?
That's right. No.
Like, this is
we crossed the line. We're not there yet.
First date, buddy. First date.
No, I do feel the same way. For me, as a creator, it's really hard, I'll be honest, to not fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others and feel inadequate or not enough. And except for my friends, when I watch my friends, I'm like, oh, what you did, guys, is cool. And I'm actually excited to watch your video and see how you've done it, because
you're proud and you're interested in what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do not watch a lot of other YouTube channels, though I do listen to podcasts.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like sailing
podcasts. So we listen to 59 North on the Wind. Mm-hmm. We also have a couple of friends who are sailing on a Sanoa 47, I believe, sailing Awen. And she started her podcast anonymously because she was still working, and now she has. I feel so bad because I don't remember the name of the podcast. What was it? Covered Castaway.
Yeah, that's right.
Covered Castaway.
That's quite a cool
and
name.
That is quite good.
Yeah,
started anonymously.
It was so good, and she's a great podcaster, and she tells amazing stories, and they're really fun to listen to. So if you're looking at a YouTube channel that you could listen to, it's like watching a YouTube channel, but it's a podcast. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I do listen to them.
So akin to this, so who do you guys, let's do one per team, right? Who do you think is a extremely underrated channel, and no one present? Who do you feel is, and let's make it about
sailing?
As a sailor, for a sailing channel, who do you feel is underrated or under? I know who mine is.
I know who mine would be. It's Alluring Arctic.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they're gutsy.
Completely underrated.
Gutsy.
You know who I mean, I don't watch a lot of YouTube, but you know who I really like because we know them in person,
Who?
and I think has a bad deal because of some of the YouTube rules is the Mothership Adrift.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Mothership Adrift.
What's the
Absolutely.
real problem there?
They have kids, although they're like more getting older kids, and
they got done in that whole,
and they
if you
can't
kids, you
have
can't-
they can't have comments or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
so that it really limits their ability to interact with their
that's
audience.
massive.
And
Yeah.
I think they've done a good job. They have a second channel now where Woody is doing, the guy is doing like tech stuff. And when we
Wow.
first met Woody, he knew nothing about how to like fix things, and now he's like really gotten into it. So I think it's cool, and they're just like they're a cool family. So Sophie did a few French lessons to Rowan, the oldest
Yeah.
girl.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm the French
So-
tutor for a lot of young girls.
Yeah.
It's
Who's
nice.
yours, Kate? Viola?
No,
We might have the
honestly,
same.
the only one who I could think of no longer kind of does videos, so I'm
No
gonna.
way.
Oh.
Who's that?
That Hakuna.
Yeah, that.
Hakuna?
Yeah, them.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
They bought a boat in like
they just-
freaking Norway or something like that,
Oh,
and they sailed down.
Expedition. Oh yeah. I remember.
Yeah,
And they
they
went
were
to,
Brazilian or something.
Yeah,
yes,
they're
they were
Brazilian.
Brazilian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They went
went
to
everywhere.
Svalbard.
Yes.
yeah, that's
I
the
know
one.
exactly who you're
And
talking
they just
about.
were like,
were killing it, but the algorithm just wasn't picking it up. And every time I looked at them, I was like, "Wow,
Kahuna.
you guys are Kahuna, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
You
that.
guys
Yeah.
are fearless," and I so
I'm
admire
sure that
them.
you guys know who we're talking about.
Yeah,
Because a lot of you watch a lot of sailing channels.
Who's yours?
Mine actually is bigger than All Present, but I feel they're undervalued because I think their videos are very good and they are committed sailors. As far as sailing goes, they're like the underdog. They're like flying under the radar.
Who's that?
Florence, Sailing Yacht Florence.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I could see that.
They have
They've done the
been,
miles.
They have gone almost. They're actually not far off their full circle, and they've just been quietly getting about it, making it happen, and they are really honest and like they're not trying like, and that's probably why the algorithm hasn't rewarded them, is because they don't release every week, and then
because they're actually
good for
sailing.
them
because they're off sailing.
Yeah.
Good for them because they are doing it on their own premises. They're not letting themselves being pressured by the YouTube algorithm.
That's right. They're doing
So
what they
you
want.
guys like go for it. I have to give a shout out to the O'Kellys. They're really fun. I like them a lot. Have you watched some of their videos?
I think we may have.
They're
That's
really funny.
Sailboat Story. Is that right?
No, the
Oh.
O'Kellys.
Oh wait, I get them.
No, they sail on a catamaran and they
Oh,
make.
they're on that tiny little cat hooning around the med.
I don't. No. They're
Too many
Do you
sailing
think maybe
channels.
there's too many of us?
Listen, I'll send you the
Krabby
link.
Captain?
No, I'll send you the link. They're really funny and they're great filmmakers. All right, this is a very interesting question. We need to answer questions faster because we're
I'm
taking
sorry.
a lot of time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you think that making YouTube videos about your adventure gives you a deeper understanding of the different cultures and crossing, or a more shallow experience because of the pressure to get a story?
That is a good question.
Now that's
And you
that's a
wanted
good
us to be
question.
quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say it this way. Yes, it does absolutely gives us a deeper understanding of the culture and crossing. And the reason why is because everywhere we go, we meet local people who watch our videos. And when we come there, they want to meet us and they tell us everything about where they come from, their land, their country, their culture. And that, guys, without YouTube, that would not exist, and it's completely invaluable. We met Marco yesterday, who's a tour guide here in the Azores, and who told us like where to go, the restaurants, where to eat, what to eat, and it's just completely invaluable. So absolutely, yes. Not because we make videos, but because of the community that watch our videos. Thank you, guys.
I think it's I'd be inclined to agree. You absolutely, you say pressure to get a story, and I suppose in a way, the pressure to get a story is what can get you up and out and doing things that maybe you wouldn't usually do. And sometimes, what Sophie was just saying, somebody will come, you'll have a friend or a patron or a viewer come and introduce themselves, and before you know it, you're on this crazy adventure wherever you are, or you've got a laundry list of things that you would never find without the assistance. And because you need to make a story, you really don't have any excuse. You're like, well, if we stop doing things, then it all stops. So the answer to almost every offer that you get is a resounding yes, because you don't need to, but you want to. You want to go out and do things because you're sort of blazing a trail for all those who would follow. And so in a way, making the videos almost motivates you to do things that perhaps you wouldn't always do, or that if you're a bit tired or you just had a tough crossing or something, that you might be like, or catch it on the next island or whatever. You don't do that. You actually get up, get out. And if someone says, hey, do you want to come and ride a camel across the Sahara? You don't go like, that sounds risky. You
Maybe
go,
tomorrow.
you know what?
Yeah.
That'll make
Go
great
on.
TV. Go on.
Yeah. So double-edged sword. But yes, I think it enhances it, in my opinion.
All right, next question. See, I'm speeding people
You're
up
on.
here.
You're on it. Woohoo!
This is what she does
you
for our
you guys
videos.
need more port. Sorry, this is the port pause. It's okay. How long have we been doing this for now? I have
About an hour.
about an hour. Okay, that's good.
Wow, that's flown by.
We're on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're having
And
fun.
the numbers are growing. We're keeping retention.
Wow.
Through the
Yeah,
roof.
it's because I gave the wrong
502
time to
people.
everyone
Guys,
on our
thank
channel.
you for
Sorry.
being here with us. Cheers to you.
Cheers,
Cheers,
to you.
cheers,
To
cheers.
the viewers.
Cheers. I'm out of
Cheers.
drink water.
We're about halfway
just a
through
little
the
bit.
port,
Do you
guys.
not want some
Keep it
No,
up.
Port tastes like
Keep
cough
up all the
syrup.
questions.
You want a beer?
No. Port tastes like
Okay,
cough
what
syrup.
should Ryan drink, guys? Answer
It's
in the
fine.
comments.
Let's answer questions.
And
Will you
first
drink,
suggestion,
will
he
you
will
drink
drink
for
it.
tips?
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
We oh my god, no,
This could get
please
weird.
no.
No.
Jules,
Nothing
we've
for
got
tips.
grog back here. If the tip is good.
No. Okay. Makini Mike. Okay, I hope I pronounced this right. What are your experiences about the toxicity that comes from YouTube and your viewership, and how do you deal with it? Okay, first off, thank you for this question, because this is a real thing that we deal with. And we're humans. We're not perfect. And I know that there is this urban legend that says that when you're a YouTuber, you signed up for this and you should have thick skin and you should develop thick skin. It's been 3 years that we do this, that we put our lives out on the internet. And I think that I'm getting there in terms of dealing with the negativity. But, sometimes you have a bad day and then you get a bad comment on top of that. And it's like, oh.
And you just get a comment and it's like a punch in the ribs. And
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, didn't see that one coming. I
Yeah.
thought I let go of that one for a while and someone brought it back up and it's like,
Yeah.
And they always show up last thing at night or
Yeah.
first thing in the
In the
morning.
morning.
And
Yeah.
they ruin your sleep or they ruin your day.
I don't know about you guys, but I think one of the hardest things that we have to work with is the idea that it's how to say this in like not sounding
See, you're afraid of the hate you're going to
Yeah,
get
exactly,
for saying
but-
this.
we get a lot of people that are like, oh, there's too many commercials on the screen, or why, like, you should just do this. Like they're expecting you to do this for free, and we like to do things for free, but
Yes.
we all, like, everybody has to live too. And I don't
Right.
think that, I think a lot of people that watch, I'm not saying everybody, but I think there's a vast majority of people who watch YouTube that don't understand the amount of time that it takes to
Yeah.
produce what you're doing. So Sophie does almost all of it, and it's like a full-time job for
I've seen
her.
her spend half a day on a thumbnal. Really, it takes a lot of time.
So
I
it
hope you
takes-
guys like the thumbnail.
It takes a lot of time, and it's like, because people have access to us and can provide us comments and things like that, you get to hear a lot about that. We all hate TV commercials.
Yeah.
We all, like, some of them are funny, but generally, like, oh, another commercial. But it's the way that
Is free.
is free, so you can watch it,
Yeah,
or the way
you're
that that's
right,
produced. And I think that's just like kind of a hard thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why people get annoyed by it, but also it's like, it's kind of like, oh, I wish that
Yeah.
people were a little more understanding with.
Yeah.
For me, it was like on Saturday, I published a video about how when we provisioned, and I tried this new format where I put shorter videos, but a little more often. So we're going to do twice a week now for the coming weeks. And somebody was like, oh, once you were my favorite channel, but now what you do is putting 10 minutes videos about toilet paper. And I'm like, oh, please, no. don't do this to me. It's Saturday.
Oh no.
I want to have a weekend
Oh.
too.
And that's
Oh,
our issue
yeah.
as well. Is like, then like you always have the ability to see it. You always, and you don't know whether you're just going to get like a in the ribs
Yeah.
where you're like, oh yay, I released the video. I'm all happy about. Oh,
Oh.
But I
wow.
will
Wasn't
say-
expecting that.
I will say that our community, at least I just speak for our community,
Yes.
they're pretty good. So sometimes when we get really
Yeah.
nasty comments, usually we don't.
everyone
have to
comes
s-
to the defense.
Yeah, we don't have to say much,
Yes.
and usually somebody will chime in and be like,
Yes.
"Well, why are you watching if this offends you?" So,
Yes.
or like you don't
and
like
so
it.
I want to say thank you on that note
Yeah,
to you
it's-
guys for defending us. So thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Bob.
Yeah, honestly,
Yes.
that is the
Thank
biggest. If you're ever wondering, and everybody reads the comment section, we all know that we go. That's
Yeah.
like the first. Often at the expense of the video, you go straight to the comments. If you see, and not just for us,
yeah.
all the channels you watch, if you see someone out of line in the comment
Say
section,
something, yeah.
get in there and sort them out. Like there's no greater way to preserve belief in humanity and mental health and all of that stuff, which even me saying the words mental health, my hairs on the back of my neck are standing up because I'm expecting someone to go, what would you know? You've never worked in a day in your life, blah, 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 blah. It's like being in a crowd of people you love, but knowing that there's 3 people in the room with a dagger and they're trying to get you.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And everybody you love is looking out for you, but you have to take the hit before you can sort of shadow ban that person and never hear from them again. But unfortunately, you have to take the hit for them to get discovered. And eventually you take enough hits and it goes quiet. And then you have a video that does really well and you cop a few more hits and you sort of, oh, that really hurt. That sucked. Block, 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 block.
Yeah.
And it goes quiet again. But there's no better feeling. And I think we can all agree when somebody gets stuck into you overnight, when you're asleep and you wake up and you read that comment and there's like 4 replies.
Yeah.
I'm getting the tingles of the
and the
feeling.
people-
and
Yes.
I love it.
The
Yeah.
Oh my God.
the people have self-policed and they've
Yeah.
gone, you know what? That's a dickhead thing to say.
It's
Yeah.
such a
Not
good
fair.
feeling.
There's just nothing better. And
Yeah.
honestly, you couldn't do it you couldn't do more for us than just watch our back because we
It's so
are
true.
very exposed and it feels that way. And I know that's, it's hard to appreciate on your end how much work goes into what we do, but the work we love, we all like doing what we do. It's the occasional kidney shot that makes it hard.
It's so true. It's so true. I have a little file, a little folder in my phone of my best comments ever, and some of them are like absolutely terrible, but they're
you
funny.
keep them. I couldn't.
And
do
sometimes
that.
I keep.
Oh,
No,
the
but
nice ones.
okay, so the nice one, but
right.
also like the ones that are so bad that it's actually really
It's funny.
funny.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Or the one that were
Yeah.
meant to be really bad,
Yeah.
but then someone answered something and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
so funny.
Do you
Like,
find
I
the
keep
bad
that.
ones are always? Why are they always illiterate? Like they don't punctuate and they
I think
get
it's-
words wrong.
I
and-
think it's called alcohol.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think there might be a bit
Honestly.
of that.
And talking about that, I'm going to serve myself a little more port wine.
Next question.
And this is, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, how much
I mean,
toilet paper should one
That
have when
actually
you're
probably
flossing?
should have been one of the answers for the earlier question. What are the 3 things you should take? Because we all, based on the toilet paper shortages during COVID, I think we can all agree it's
okay.
it's a
First off,
necessity.
little shout out to David. Hi, David.
Hi,
It was
David.
we met him here in Ponta Delgada. It
Oh,
was very
cool.
nice.
Oh,
It was,
Aw.
it was super cool.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say it depends how much. It depends whether you put your toilet paper in the bin or in the toilet.
what, are you going to reuse it or something?
Yeah, exactly.
No, because when it's going in a bin, you're like toilet paper for everyone.
Oh, right.
Whereas when it's going down the drain, you're like,
depends.
One
you have to
bit.
tease it down
Yeah.
the drain.
I think it really depends on how.
I don't know
much-
whether that was a serious question. I don't know whether we should actually answer that.
I think it depends on how much Taco John's they say across it.
I was going to say, how much fiber is in the diet? Because that's a factor here. Science.
Next question.
Thanks, David. This was great. Oh no, this is okay. This is a fun one. What would you do different if you built your YouTube channel from scratch?
Oh, blimey.
I mean, I love how this live is talking a lot about YouTube and making videos and what goes on behind the
Yeah.
scene. This is really cool. 'cause,
We
like,
never talk about this usually.
You know what?
No, we
I'm
can
gonna.
compare
I'll
notes.
answer this first because
Okay.
I'm the one person that's not as involved in YouTube here. One of the things that Sophie and I did, like very recently, was we took a YouTube course together, and it was more about like how to tell stories. It wasn't about like how to beat the algorithm because that's impossible. It was about how to just make a better YouTube channel. And Sophie asked if I'd take it with her, and I did. And we did like a month of like pre-work, and then the course was two months, and that gave me like a much bigger appreciation for what like the work that you do, but also what it did was allowed me to be like really critical when I review, because she'll send me the stuff and she's like, tell me what you think. And before I just was like, well, I don't know. But now it's like,
yeah,
like,
now you
really
can now you can give me real feedback on the videos and tell me, oh, this is good. Maybe you should cut this part, or
like the story, like this part of the story's missing or whatever. And I think if we would have done that maybe a little earlier on,
yeah,
it would have helped.
So if you guys are aspiring YouTubers here in the audience, or if you have a YouTube channel and you want some tips on how to do YouTube, like, don't hesitate to email us, because we know how isolating it can be sometimes. And I know how much of a relief it was to meet you guys and finally be able to exchange, how we do things.
Yeah.
So
and
don't
it's
have
not
to
a
preface that.
zero-sum game either. Like, it's not, it's tempting to, especially when you're starting out and before you reach that, it's not critical mass, but before you reach the point where you're like, I don't really care what everyone else is doing. It's tempting to be like really thirsty and adversarial. It's not a zero-sum game, like, it's not like if they get the views, no one's going to watch me. There's only, it's not there is like billions of people watching things. Like, if you're not getting the views, it's not because someone's stealing it from you. It's just the way the game goes, it's just how it is. So there's no downside to helping each other out, asking questions. There's no downside. It's all upside.
If you're a YouTube channel, email us. We like meeting you guys.
Unless you're asking about what's the secret algorithm, in which case none of us
we don't have an answer. But okay, so if you were to build our YouTube channel from scratch, you would take that course. What would you do different if you were to build it from scratch again?
I would. It's hard with the gift of hindsight, because
I would get a better lens for the camera.
Yeah, I think there's a few little.
We used our phone.
It's details that I would pay much more attention to the quality of the sound. I would invest.
Yes.
I would invest in sound up front, because it's a tiny investment and it's a huge boost to the quality of the story. People will sit through crap video. They won't sit through crap sound. And for $80 Rode mic that fits into your phone or onto whatever camera you have, you can go, the dividends on that are huge. And it took us a lot longer than it should have to realize that. So that's the first thing. Second, I would have documented more. So in our first 6 videos, we bought the boat, we fixed the boat, we sailed all the way to Puerto Rico, and then we fixed it again in 6 videos. Like, that could have been a whole season. Like, and then that was the comments. They were like, you guys could have made 20 videos out of what you've shown us.
But that's possibly the reason why we did okay at the beginning, because people were like, wow, these guys are going places. Moving.
Oh, if only they knew what was to come. These guys are going. And stop. Yeah. But, I guess that's good advice, is never underestimate what other people will find interesting. And I know, and it's, especially when you've been out here a while, it's easy to be like, no one wants to hear about my morning on the boat. But we say that because we live on a boat. I wake up on my boat every morning, and I have done for the last 5 years, and that's 3 years. And that's not interesting anymore to me. But the nuances of that might be exactly what someone wants to hear, because they're on the verge of doing it too. And so the detail, like, don't ever assume someone won't find something interesting. Capture everything, because you can't, once you haven't captured it and it's happened, you can't go back and do it again, and you can always cut it away on the editing floor. So capture everything, pay attention to sound, and don't pretend to be something you're not. Show it all.
That's good advice. All right. Maybe we're shouldn't be a hobby. No, okay. That was not what I wanted to highlight. This is what I wanted to highlight.
You drink a lot.
No, we don't. We got that much, and I've had
pirates. Hello.
Oh, okay, I'm defending it, and everyone's like,
yeah. Cheers to that.
Skål.
Okay.
Skål.
Oh no, we're not doing a skull. How much have we? All right, so we have that much left. We're not that bad. We're not, We're
just down half of it. Okay.
I promise this never happens.
This is a question for Ryan, because apart from YouTube, the 3 of us have so we cannot slide.
Women.
We cannot slide this because it makes a fart sound. So when we when we had some
Did
questions
somebody
about
say that?
somebody asked if someone farted, and that's because we slide
Gotta check
the microphone, so we have to lift it,
Okay.
turn it, and then put it down.
Okay.
Okay, so Ryan, what other source of income do you have?
I mean, I still do a little bit of consultancy work. Oh, I think we gotta.
Adam, where are you going?
It's
I
gonna
was
go.
checking the anchor.
Just gotta go check the anchor.
We're at the
Just
marina.
gotta take the kids to the pool.
Do you want to take the microphone in there too?
No, I don't think we should do that. That's gonna make the numbers go way off. See, they're already dropping. No, so yeah, I mean, I still do some aviation consultant, but I work almost full time with our battery business. So that's one of the reasons I don't do as much with the YouTube, because my days are pretty full with other things. And then with the tech corner and doing random boat projects like we have going on now. So that's it. Do you have any other
all
sources?
of us do YouTube.
And everyone else does YouTube, so that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Skål på er! Skål! Okay. Here's an interesting question. Do you fish often to supplement your food? What about ciguatera or fish poisoning? What did you guys do about ciguatera and fishing? Tell me.
I hate this question
Why?
because every time I'm like, we're terrible fishermen. And
Oh, okay.
I'll admit that, like, it's just because the most of the Caribbean are like, there is a lot of ciguatera around the Caribbean, and it's
Yeah.
either like below Grenada is okay, but above that isn't okay. And most of the places that you visit seem to have ciguatera, so
Yeah.
it's always is this fish going to give me, you know, issues or not? And then you have obviously the issue with like sargasso, where when
Yeah.
you fish, it's just
You're
end up
picking up
getting
seaweed.
exactly
Yeah.
10 times, 50 times you pick up seaweed.
Yeah.
One time you might get a fish. And so for us, we don't fish very often.
Yeah. So
You?
same thing. The reason why, okay, so first off, sargasso was a real issue in the Atlantic, and we
Especially coming
crossed,
this way.
coming back, we couldn't
Yeah.
fish. There was too much
Yeah.
sargasso, and then
Yeah.
the sea state was just too crazy for us to fish. We could have
Yeah.
fished, and we could have landed.
We did fish a couple times, but it ended
We
up
didn't catch anything.
badly.
But because of the risk of ciguatera, so ciguatera is a disease it's a toxin carried by fish, and
Primarily reef fish.
primarily reef fish in
Yeah.
the Caribbean, and there is no way to detect ciguatera. How was it, Adam?
Okay.
The anchor is fine.
Oh,
There's no
we're
risk
so
of
happy
dragging.
to hear that. But there is no way to detect ciguatera. There isn't really a way to distinguish the fish that has ciguatera or the species that could carry ciguatera, and so we just decided that
And you
we're
can't cook
You're
it
not
out
fishing.
either.
Can't
You
cook
don't
it out.
fish
No,
it.
you
not.
can't.
So in the
Yeah.
Caribbean, we didn't fish halfway, like
Yeah.
3
Stop
days.
fishing.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys have said already. The prevailing advice is don't. So it works its way up the food chain and gets in higher and higher concentrations, right? So if you only keep the fish under, try to keep them like 10 to 15 pounds, you don't eat really hungry pelagics. You eat offshore pelagics. So stay away from barracuda. Like dolphin fish is a okay example.
Like
but
mahi
not a-
mahi?
but not a huge one. And if you do get one, don't eat it all in one sitting. You eat a small portion of it and,
Oh, yeah?
and date the bag and the fish. And if anyone gets sick at all, because if you consume a huge amount, like a whole fish,
Oh,
Yeah, it
wow.
can really
with
get.
ciguatera, you can really be laid out. But so you can have a mild case.
Mm.
So
That's
that's kind of the
good
prevailing
advice.
advice.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
stick to the middle-sized fish. Stay away from barracuda. Don't hunt above Dominica or below Bahamas. And
We just
lionfish
We
are
just
a
stopped.
safe bet.
we just stopped
Lionfish
fishing.
are always good.
If you're a spearo
Yeah.
or you just want to forage, lionfish are a pretty safe bet because they
Easy to catch.
easy to catch. They're medium size and they don't, they're not hugely pelagic.
But the fishing, I remember when we went from, well, we didn't fish down to the Canaries, but probably from here it'd be okay. But like fishing from Canaries to Cape Verde was really good. We caught a lot of
Yeah,
fish.
get a lot of
Really?
mahi mahi. Probably
nice.
a lot of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a little too much. Okay, I love this question, David. Hi, David. Given
Hello.
the full-time nature of what you do you have any non-sailing hobbies?
Oh no, I'm really embarrassed to admit that I don't really.
I-
I wish that I
Really?
played an instrument or I had something like that, but off the top of my head, I don't really know.
I can Okay, I love watching beauty YouTube.
That's not a hobby.
Beauty,
It
That's
is kind
just
of
watching TV.
Okay.
That's
a
not a
hobby, though.
hobby.
I was like, oh,
It's
if
a
that
hobby.
counts.
Well, in
then
that
yeah,
case,
guess,
I love watching CSI.
There you go. No, you just love watching TV.
When are you sneaking out to watch CSI?
Netflix, Netflix, and
Chill.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, that's a hobby, right?
It's a hobby. No, Ryan and I work out a little bit when we can, when we think about it.
I go
Pretty
for
good.
lots of runs. Yeah.
You work out quite
Yeah.
a bit. How about you, Adam?
It comes in waves. It depends on what we've got going on. I don't like a good way for me to sort of switch off and decompress is as I said before, I'll just play a computer game or something like that. It's a really great way. I'm very distractible. Not distractible, but I'm a very deep thinker. And if I get something and I chew on it, it's very hard for me to stop thinking about it unless I fully engage in something else. And TV sometimes isn't enough. I'll start thinking about something in the back here while I'm watching what I'm watching. So playing games and things is a really great way for me to switch off. But we don't have the power, and so I don't get to do it very often because of battery limitations, etc. And if I'm going to spend time on a laptop, I probably should be editing anyway. So it's pretty rare that I get to do that.
But you're going to have lithium soon.
Game changing, yeah.
So
Well,
when
but
we're
see,
in the
that just means
Caribbean,
more work.
we like to swim and to free dive. That was quite fun. But we haven't done as much of it here because I get cold.
Oh, you too?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. So we haven't done as much here, but I do hear that there is a little bit of, there's some life to see here, which is quite cool. So to be honest, we probably should have put on our wetsuits and gone for a free dive or something.
Yeah.
But we just haven't as
Maybe we
much.
should
So
Do you want to free dive under my boat and just check out?
I'm really busy. So,
No.
no.
I know there's some sea life around.
Okay, guys, Peter asked, knowing that you probably don't want to be away from your boat for long periods and apart from trips, are there trips that you really want to take that are not possible by sailboat?
So many.
Oh,
so
yeah?
many.
Yes.
I mean, I love sailing. I wouldn't do it any other way. Or I would, but there's, when you
Let's explore that for a second. I'm joking, I'm kidding.
When this is what you do for a living, it's very like one of the biggest gripes, not gripes. What I wish I had was instead of a sailing channel, I wish we had an adventure channel that was
I think that
based around sailing, because I want to make videos about lots of things, but the audience that tunes in, they're very much sailing focused, and that's okay because that's what was advertised and that's the proposition we've all put down. Totally understand. But, I'd like to climb to Everest Base Camp, and I'd love to make a video about that. I'd love to take you all along for the ride.
And I'd like to go into the desert as well.
We'd like
and
to
see
go,
what that looks like.
Go into like way into Africa and do things like that. And I'm not saying that we're not going to do that, but it is a consideration when you plan an adventure or you decide what to do, especially when you're living off this. What will be, will they be marching for the door if we do something off-brand, even if it's temporary? And that is a consideration you have to make.
Our YouTube sailing channel is about the journey, not the destination. So it's, when we get to the destination, we often feel guilty about going, not guilty, but like sometimes when we're exploring, we're like, geez, I haven't put a sailboat in this for a while.
Really?
What should we do? For me, I do. I'm like, oh.
Huh. Yeah, I guess.
No, for you guys?
Well,
what about what's your answer?
It's really sad to admit it, but Ryan, when we arrive in a place, well, we're very public. There's 510 people watching this. Hi guys.
One of them has a knife.
We're not always the best at really taking advantage of exploring the places that we're at, because Ryan and I work, and a lot of people who do our lifestyle for 1 year or two, and they've saved a lot of money and they have all this time that they can use, get a lot more out of the places that they end up at, because they don't have the need that Ryan and I have to sit and work.
Yeah.
And that is a lifestyle choice that we made, that we were going to work and sail. But it means that sometimes we need to catch a weather window, which means that we need to prioritize working, especially for you, Ryan. Like, you have a lot of calls, a lot of meetings, sometimes you have business trips. And it means that sometimes we're we end up missing out on a lot of stuff. But
Yeah.
it's okay. It's all right. You can't have FOMO in this lifestyle.
Can't have it all. There's
No.
always the next go around.
Yes,
Exactly.
And there is the conundrum where you get to a place by a sailboat, and so you obviously want to do stuff that's close to you, but you tend to just only do the activities that are on the water rather than traveling to go places. And that's just, we're somewhat lucky on that we've been traveling in the Caribbean islands where the best things to do are on the water.
It's only
Yeah.
a small island.
Yes, but you guys have been in the Mediterranean where it's like there's so much out there away
And
from
we
the coast.
we did rent cars, and that was an adventure in some places in itself, like driving
Oh,
on
yeah.
cold streets and dying.
Sicily.
Yeah. But so we've done that, and like I think you have to just do that. You get to a place and rent a car, find somebody that knows around, and kind of go off the beaten path a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, and as much as we all love sailing, like it is a means to get around, and the journey is part of the adventure. But that doesn't mean nobody would go sailing if all you could do was go from marina to marina to marina to marina to marina.
I'm pretty
And
sure
just,
that there are
I'm
some
pretty
people that
sure.
do
Maybe
that.
some people do
Yeah.
do
Some
that.
homes.
Guys, if that's your jam,
Not Marina.
roll with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But you got to go do something when you're there.
Yeah,
You go all that way.
exactly.
And what's another day or even another 2 weeks, even another
Yeah.
3 weeks? You've crossed the ocean
No,
for
I
3
know.
weeks and
I
you
know.
won't go in and
That was actually one thing that Ryan and I this year promised to ourselves, that we would take more advantage of the places that we visit,
Yeah,
and that we're doing that.
Yeah, we
I
are.
think that
Yeah.
we're doing good.
that's good.
So you guys will probably see in our coming videos that we visit places. Which is fun.
let's ride camels
Hopefully-
across the Sahara.
I like that idea.
I have an idea how to keep the sailing in this adventure is that we build a
Oh, no.
like a big
Oh, no.
structure on wheels.
Dude,
huge
Dude,
wheels.
I had that idea before
Put the
too.
boat up
Larry
on it.
Party did that.
Yeah,
He was American. He won the first race ever to sail across the Sahara Desert.
yes,
Okay, actually,
Let's
it sounds
do
quite fun.
that.
we should
Sounds
do
quite
that.
fun.
Wow.
And
Yep, come on, ladies and gentlemen,
make it
big
happen.
sails, big
Can I
sails,
come?
big
Yeah.
huge
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
tires.
Yeah.
We should do that.
We
Okay.
should
we
do
should.
that.
I would do that.
We should
We're
absolutely
technically
do
sailing.
that.
We've brought the sails with us,
All
but
right,
we're
guys.
just going across inland. You know,
Sophie
I'm
will
for
bring
this.
lots of water.
Vote yes or no in the comment
There will be
section.
I'll bring the
water.
truffles for her so she can cook with truffles.
That would be so
Priority.
fun.
No water maker, honey.
Let's retrace his race. We should
Yeah.
get in touch with Lynn, see if she has any details. We should redo the race.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm open for an adventure. Okay, guys. Steven asks if we have any regrets on taking on this lifestyle.
Ooh, good
No.
question, Stephen.
I have none.
Any regrets that I have would be outweighed by the benefits. So,
Yeah.
no, sorry. Any benefits would be, no. Does that work? You know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
no regrets.
No regrets.
I have zero regrets. I just wish that I wasn't so hard on myself at the beginning, because I was really expecting to that I expected that I would have to force myself to fit into a mold that really did not need to exist. So I thought that I would have to give up on makeup, on clothes, on I gave up on a bit of my comfort, but a lot of who I am, and I really did not need to do that. Like, if you want to put makeup on before your watch, like by any means, like why not? I don't, okay? But I think that it took me about a year before I started reconnected with what I like: skincare, makeup, nice clothes. Yeah, it's just part.
That's
just-
who you are, though. That's like
Yeah,
even before we
exactly.
met, like I had seen your content, and
Yeah.
I liked that you guys, you frame your shot and you just get out there and you're yourself. You're not like
No, exactly.
Yeah.
trying to be
yeah.
really. You're just
Exactly,
your
but-
funny self.
I thought
Warts
that
and all.
I thought that I would need to change myself to be more like
Suit
the
the lifestyle.
sailors,
Yeah.
or and you don't need to be that. You can be a competent sailor and wear mascara. That's completely acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
I have to say that I'm not here on the. Okay, so there we go. We're getting.
Brief interlude while we are topping up some
Oh,
drinks
yeah.
here.
Oh my God,
Sorry.
wow. This is a very appropriate question for the.
Hey, who can do the watermelon crawl?
What's
that?
What is the watermelon?
What's the watermelon crawl?
I'm gonna.
I think
Google it.
Sophie seems to be the only one who
side-
knows, so I
Doesn't
think
know
that
either.
she should
No,
show
I'm
us
gonna
as
Google
well.
it.
Next question.
You can go to the next question.
We'll circle
while I
back.
Google
We'll circle back.
Watermelon.
Okay.
Oh no, we're on the chat. I can't.
Yeah, you guys.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
hmm,
Okay.
looks to be a
I don't
country
know
music
this.
thing.
Well, he's from.
I think it's
Oh,
a country
what?
song.
No. Oh.
You're from Corn Country. Country
There
music.
seems
Yeah.
to be a line dance. That's the watermelon crawl. Or,
He's from the country.
Yeah,
he can
that's
totally
your
do
jam,
it.
right?
The watermelon crawl.
He can
it's a
totally
country
do
song.
it.
I love that song. The watermelon
or
crawl.
there's also a photo of people
You're
pushing
making this up.
watermelons down
I'm
a
not.
hill
I
with
promise
their
you.
heads.
Oh well. That
So,
could be
okay.
it too.
When the last
Wrong
time that I was allowed in the United States, we were in Des Moines, where Ryan's from, Iowa, and I really
Go Hawks.
wanted to go line dancing.
Oh,
Okay. We do fun things in Iowa, and Ryan was like, "No, let's go watch a game,
Hockey game.
a hockey game." And we were with Ryan's cousin, two big guys, like big guys from Michigan. And I was sure that I was going to lose that battle, like line dancing, hockey game. And the cousins were like, "No, let's go line dancing. That would be fun." So we went to the boot barn and we bought cowboy hats. And that night,
Belt buckles.
and belt buckles. And that night we went line dancing on the watermelon crawl. And it was
That's right.
amazing.
That's
It
right.
was amazing.
Yeah, so we can do it. Yeah, that's true.
I can do the watermelon crawl.
That's really good.
Yeah. When I'm finally allowed to come in the United States, I'll do the watermelon crawl to celebrate.
But you need to definitely film it.
On the
Definitely.
foredeck. I will.
Yes.
Promise. Okay. What fears have you overcome since started sailing?
I used to have a fear of when I say I used to, I still sometimes relapse. A fear of water like deep dark water that you can't see the bottom of. And obviously if you're free diving, or if you're going to take the anchor, or in fact if you're just swimming in general and then there's seagrass down there and it suddenly looks black, that petrifies me. And so that is definitely one of my fears. And getting in the water more, swimming more, I feel better about it. But because we haven't swum for a very long time, it's relapsing a little, and so that's just consistency for me. I think I love the water otherwise, I really do, but that's probably one of mine, is like deep dark water. Yours?
I need a minute to think about that.
Okay, Adams.
I
have no fear.
Khiara's wrath.
Oh no! He still has that.
I
It's
still
fine.
have a healthy fear of that. Fears that I overcome. I think the need for approval. That's mine. I no longer care very much about how I'm judged for my actions. And not to say that I do what I want, but I used to be really, really wrapped around the axles about
What did people expect
do it.
of you?
Yeah. What was
how to
the
live up
right
to
thing
it.
to do? And if I messed it up, I got really embarrassed and stressed out. And I think I've overcome that to the point now where I think we haven't achieved a ton, but we've achieved enough now where I feel comfortable saying, you know what, it's okay to make mistakes. I'm not a danger to anyone or my crew or myself.
Yeah.
And I can confidently go and continue to make mistakes without being a risk. And that's okay. It's okay to be human. You don't have to be perfect. People will make fun of you for screwing things up, but there's also people who say nothing, who are happy to see someone human getting out there and giving it a go. And I feel that's what I've overcome, the need for approval.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing, and I saw that comment here. I'm gonna put it back. Okay, well, but yeah, in the lifestyle that we live, and especially putting it on camera and here live, sometimes we disappoint people. Sometimes we do things that not everybody approves of. We have different opinions, and it needs to be okay. And I learned that. One thing that you should have in life is a reason why you do the thing that you do, because it makes every critic that you can receive okay. It's like, well, you can criticize me for what I do, but I have a good reason why I do the thing that I do, and it's fine. And if you don't approve, well, it's all right. It's okay. On a much shallower level, though, I get over my fear of sailing close to big ships. I was absolutely terrified of them.
Understandably.
I feel a little bit better now. How about you, Ryan?
Still got no fears?
No, it's not that I don't have fears, but I'm not sure I can confidently say that I have overcome fears that I have. So I genuinely have, but I have this fear of taking Sophie and I offshore just together and being fully responsible for that, which I think is somewhat healthy because it is a big thing to do. And I know how to manage that better, I would say now, but that's still a fear that I have, is like going, and that's why in the past I've done a lot of activities by myself, because it was just me who could, if I messed something up, it was just me.
I have that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
so
you
like,
feel responsible for everyone.
Exactly. So I did a lot of stuff. I like to do things on my own, but in this case, there's two of us, and that's not a possibility. So that's still a fear I have, and I think it's something I work to overcome, but I haven't overcome it yet.
All right. I love this question. Kenny. Hi, Kenny. When you started out, did you ever see yourselves where you are today?
No.
I surely hoped that I would be where I am today.
That depends. I expected us to be wrapped up and back home in Australia.
Really?
If in terms of like,
we
expected. So we bought the boat and
We were
expected
stupid.
us to bought the boat, and our expectations was that in a year and a half, I would have wrapped everything up, done the Caribbean, possibly nipped over to the Mediterranean, possibly not. You know, come back again.
Ambitious. That was ambitious.
Then
Very.
headed over to the across Pacific, and then be back in Australia in a year and a half. And we'd saved enough up money for about a year and a half. So, did you ever think that you would see yourself where you are today? No, I didn't. I thought I'd be wrapped up
Much further down the
back
line.
in bed in Australia. But no, definitely not in YouTube.
Not like this.
Definitely not. No,
No.
definitely
it's
not
gone.
still doing it.
I think the thing that for me has surprised me is just how like techie I've become.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, people like send emails and they're genuinely asking for your help and support on things. And like, I never saw myself 3 years ago in that,
Yeah.
you know, like answering, and people are like making big decisions based on what you say.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
because obviously they have a lot of confidence in what you do. And so that I did not see that coming. That's and it's fun too. I like it.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same, like you were saying before. You feel a duty of care
Yeah.
to everyone who's on the boat and everyone who you're giving advice to, and so you're sort of like,
But that's probably why people ask too, because
Yeah.
maybe they sense that and they're like,
You're right.
I don't think this
Yeah.
person would steer, like, just
would
say
not
it to-
say or just say any old thing. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but
I'm really
very
careful
often
about.
spend a day preparing for what is a 30-minute phone call.
I'm very careful about what I say and how I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Alright.
I was really hoping that we would be where we are today, you know, because it's such a great way to explore the world. And the thing is, you need time to continue exploring destinations. So
So you actually had a realistic expectation then.
yeah,
Wow,
I really
okay.
thought that when we left Stockholm on the boat, we would turn this into a lifestyle. Now Ryan was a little more reserved and was like, "Let's try it out for 6 months." I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to force you to continue after 6 months if you don't like it." But I was hoping that we would turn it into a lifestyle, and we did. So
Wow.
that's pretty cool. All right. Would you sail the world any different if you didn't have a camera or a YouTube channel? Hi, Kevin. Thanks for your question.
Hello.
I think we'd go faster. I think one of the things that we've learned. No, just
Really?
hear me out on this. I've talked about this before. One of the things that we've learned is that because you have to like. So when I do a boat project, it takes me probably like, if I'm actually filming it, like 2 or 3 times longer to do the project, because you're like setting up the camera and you're
Yeah.
doing this, and then
We
something in the boat
discussed this
project goes
before, yeah.
right, or like you're going on a trip to see something, you got to get the camera right, and then it takes a few days to edit, and you still want to see the place,
Yes.
and that all adds up. So I would say like it's probably doubling your trip time.
Yes.
And so I actually think we could go a lot faster. I don't know if people can hear me because Sophie keeps like getting in my way, but I think that we could go a bit faster in seeing things if we weren't doing this. That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think we would go. I agree with Ryan absolutely. We would probably have moved a lot quicker. We wouldn't spend as much time down in the dungeon editing. But then again,
if you had a job, like
if you had
were
a job,
working, you would be doing the same thing.
You would be doing
know?
the same. Exactly. Then again, we might not be sailing at all. We might be back home. Life has a funny way of changing things up on you. We almost certainly would have had to go home to work. And, in this, all things considered, we would be stuck there because we're from Australia. So we'd really be screwed. Yep. But then I guess on the flip side of the coin, you sort of, I wouldn't have just flown to Turkey to fly on a boat. And I wouldn't be, we wouldn't be doing all the other fringe benefits that come from that and all the other opportunities that crop up slowly over time. So, yeah, I think it would be
faster,
and faster pace with the movement, but slower pace with the circuit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think the crossings would be fewer and further between. And I wouldn't like for example, we're crossing back and we're crossing back again. And
that's why
I'm doing that in the pursuit of future goals as a channel and as where we want to go with this whole sailing career, I guess, call it what you will. If I was just out here sort of fly in, fly out from Australia working, like I would obviously not do that. I would put the boat up somewhere, I'd fly back and I do some work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends. You sort of
So this is an interesting follow-up question. Hi, Xavier. Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now? Okay, Adam, a little fairy told me that you made a 5 years plan today.
You did. Are you going to publicly announce our 5-year plan?
No. You don't have to talk about your 5-year plan. Just 2 years.
2 years. All right. Okay. So I said before that I love what I do, right? And part of the biggest reason I love what I do is because I love sailing and I like sharing it with people. And I like when people realize that they can do what they want to do as they are. And for me, the way that we can facilitate that, or the way I can pursue that, is by opening my doors to people and taking them out for 10 days or whatever, and showing them that they can do it, showing them that it's not rocket science, that there are some things you need to know and some things that you can figure out along the way. And that if you make smart choices and you listen to conventional wisdom and you just do your homework, you can do it. And so I want to marry up what we do by video to a more, brick and mortar is not the right word. It should, I guess, fiberglass and resin. I want to basically, my goal, my dream is to be able to take people out and show them that they can do it. So go sailing with them, not necessarily teach, because I don't think we're there yet, but just take them out, let them drive the steer, let them haul us, like hoist a sail, drop an anchor, like tack, jibe, run downwind, do a night passage, whatever, all under the complete supervision of us, and just let them experience it.
I think you'll be amazing at that. I know that you'll be great, and I know that a lot of people will love coming to you to get those experiences.
Just get it, yeah. I just want to share the stoke.
Okay,
it's
guys,
an exciting thing. If
you have not done it yet, subscribe to Sailing Millennial Falcon. They're really fun. If you're here because you like our videos, they're better. Like they're funnier.
No.
They're great. So
we're with them, but
go
just
subscribe.
The Australian English version.
We don't have a charming accent.
Exactly.
Provincial slang.
Yeah, in fact, we should really be at odds because you're French and I'm English. So really,
you guys
shouldn't
get along.
work.
You're not supposed to get along.
The accents
don't talk about the war.
No, but this is such an interesting question, because when we were talking about how you're making 5 years plans, I was like, I do not have that. I don't know where we're going to be in 2 years. I mean, I
wouldn't say it's as if we do this all the time. This is like an impromptu. Hey, let's just make a 5-year plan.
I don't have a lot of ambitions. Like I know that I wish we could buy.
I think you do.
Yeah, I think she does too, but she just undersells them.
Okay, I want to buy a bigger boat. That would
Yeah,
be nice.
I do too. Yeah.
But I don't know if in 2 years it's realistic for us to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I was also
Why
thinking
bigger boat?
Yeah, what's that? Like, is that a
So longer, you mean, or like
Yeah, longer.
So just more rooms.
yes.
Right.
Well, no, I think just
in the pursuit of like more workspace,
More space?
Yes,
more
privacy.
to have
Ah.
privacy. Oh, I see. For the two of
I
you.
need privacy. You know, this you and I being able to go to this office
Right.
was such like a moment of discovery for me. Where like
Right.
it makes so much sense. Like what I miss in my life is privacy, so that I can work undisturbed
Right.
and focus.
So home office.
Yeah.
So she wants a home office.
And the thing is, we live this lifestyle because we want to go to remote places where there are no co-working spaces by definition.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Very,
need,
very true.
We need a little bit.
But I think
bigger.
true.
a little bigger also just for because I think there's a few things we'd like to have on the boat. Like a dive compressor would be really
Oh,
nice.
Ah,
Because
yeah,
we
yeah,
just don't
okay.
have the space for like. There's
Yeah.
just a few extra things. Of course, then when we get those, we'll be like, there's just a few more.
Just a
things.
little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
more,
The
but,
bigger you go,
uh,
the bigger you need.
we
Where
are-
will we park the Maserati?
Yeah.
And-
But we are like definitely maxed out on space on this boat right now.
Yeah. So I think that the 2 years vision is we have a bigger boat, but apart from that, I don't have a lot. Okay, guys, I just want to say we have been live for almost 2 hours. We have a little bit left of port
let's go to the
wine.
end of the bottle.
Okay, we need to go to the end of the
Nice.
bottle. I want to take this opportunity to first off take this comment from Tammy.
Mhm.
Ryan. Ryan is a
got
very
buff.
Ryan is a very conscious person, and you're not very happy with your body right now, which I don't think is right. You should be very happy with your body. And look, your
It's a
arms and
very-
shoulders are getting bigger. So
I was at the gym every day while I was home. It was
Were you really?
such a yeah.
Oh, that's
I
great.
used to be like big gym guy, big athlete, and I was a rock climber. So I would do like go to the gym in the morning. I would rock climb after work every day. and I was
Wow.
in really good shape, but now on the boat, it's just.
Yeah, I tell you what, people think
It's
it's an
gone
active
to-
lifestyle.
okay.
I
need
like,
to-
I
you
like
need to
when the
work
old,
for
the
it.
old salts are like, yeah, I'm really glad I'm still sailing because you get to move around. I'm like,
Move
I'm getting
around.
pudgy
You're getting
and
fat,
soft.
No, you're great. You're
You
so
also
great.
have a French cooking
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
True.
Wow, that's good.
Thanks,
Okay,
Tammy.
let's talk about this comment for Peter. Adam, this is a great idea. Even having social community on the nuts and bolts for getting experience, what apps to use, what skills to develop, what things to prepare. Yeah, you see, you have a great idea. I think that a lot of people would love to go sail with you. So all that to say that we've been live for almost 2 hours, and we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. So if you have any question that you would like to ask, I know that we've been a little long to answer those questions. It's been very conversational. I hope this was okay. Peter asks a very interesting question.
Ooh, this is.
Would you guys buy a catamaran for less rolling and more space? How about you guys? Would you buy a catamaran?
It is definitely more space. I've heard that. Personally, for me, I still get just as seasick on a catamaran as I do on a monohull, and I enjoy the motion of a monohull more.
Have you sailed on a catamaran?
Yes, I have.
I've
Yeah.
never done that.
Granted
Just
that
trial one.
it was a
For
lagoon,
like a trial.
and which was very
Yeah.
creaky and ridiculous, and
Okay.
Scary.
It
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
it
Let's
was
go
a
do that.
lagoon though.
Yeah, let's
It
go
was a
rent.
lagoon.
Let's
let's
my
charter
God,
it.
guys,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
charter a catamaran.
Let's go. Yeah.
So personally, for me, I'm just not a catamaran person. That doesn't mean to say that I wouldn't spend the exact same amount of money on another boat that's a monohull. I'm just personally not necessarily a catamaran person. That's all.
There's only a couple cat. I would love to have a cat, but I'm not going to have a cat at just the expense of having a cat, because I think there's some cats that we would not like at all. So
i.e. lagoon.
Caveat
No.
that we have never sailed a
I'm sorry, I shouldn't
catamaran.
be saying this.
Listen,
Yeah.
No,
my
it's okay.
my
Oh,
views
because
of
it
having
creaked. Never mind. Sorry.
my views of having a Garcia. That's just the boat I really want. Any Garcia, including the catamaran. Because
Yeah.
they're just built so robust.
Yeah, that's cool.
I just can't see the Garcia. I've never been on it, so I'm just assuming.
I
just
know,
can't
this
see
is
it
the
being
issue.
creaking and loud, and I see it being very robust.
Well, it's made of aluminium. I can't
Yes.
imagine it would creak
Yeah.
that much. Yeah.
But there's downsides and upsides to everything. So
What about you?
Well, I've never sailed a catamaran, but I like the idea of having more space and having more privacy. And I can just picture myself going down in a hall, closing the hall, and having it for myself so that I can edit in peace and quiet.
I think one
just like
thing-
the co-working space.
One thing that you've talked about is being out of the dungeon.
Yes. Oh
Like,
God, yes.
being able to have light and like
Yeah.
see the.
Yeah.
But these are all
And a
like.
catamaran does give that.
What about a like a deck saloon?
Yeah, we've
'Cause you
talked
can
about
have
those,
that,
like on
you
a
know?
Moody or like.
Yeah, like the Moody 40 DS is like essentially,
The 54.
you know,
It's
like
a-
it's that.
it's a
It's got this
monomoran.
huge- Yeah, it is a
big,
mono.
really
Exactly,
big.
a
Yeah.
monomoran.
Yeah.
So like
And the
one of our
handsy,
secondhand boats that we were sort of thirsting after is a Taswell 49 AS, and the AS is like all seasons, and it's not a traditional deck saloon like where they call it, and they have just those basically skylights. It's actually a raised,
Yeah.
like a proper raised pilot.
I mean, in
Yeah,
the Garcia
It's got a
boats,
couch up there, it's got
salon
everything.
is up.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's much
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
It's exactly like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I think you can tick that box on a mono still if you stretch.
It's
I mean,
true.
it depends. It depends on
Yeah.
what you want. You won't have the space.
Yeah. It
But
doesn't cover the rolling.
light.
That's the issue, is
Yeah,
the rolling,
the
which
anchoring.
I
Anchor
agree.
rolling, yeah.
But-
It's hard sometimes.
But it's the rolling on anchor, because when you're going to be at sea, the rolling is maybe going to be a little bit better,
think-
but you're going to have slap on the.
without
in a
sailing
hole, right?
one. I just imagine a mono. The motion is more natural
Yes,
versus
exactly.
versus a catamaran where it's very
Yeah.
They
unnatural.
kind of like walk as
Yeah.
opposed
Yeah.
to like
So monohull
You
just
know?
has this motion, whereas a catamaran has like, it goes over waves, so it has like this kind of a
Yeah.
motion, and it's
Yeah.
like, for me, for seasickness, my body just couldn't get used to the motion because it's changing all the time, and it's like, oh, am I doing this wave motion, or am I doing like this wave motion? And it's just for
Yeah.
seasickness.
for
I didn't get it.
For context though, we were in, I won't name it, but we were in a less than ideal specimen
already
of
named
a cat. Oh, you've already named it. So we're in a Lagoon 44.
In about 2
And it-
meter waves.
Yeah, it was a pretty, like it was in the Whitsundays, and it howls there sometimes.
does,
It really
yeah.
stands up some pretty nasty waves, and it can be like just a tough beat, which is not what that boat's really good at. So maybe if you had, like a katana or something with dagger boards that's a bit quicker, that will sort
True,
of
true.
slice through, it might be a nicer motion. I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's
guess it's just like monohulls.
More investigation required.
Exactly.
Okay, this is a
Each
good
their own.
follow-up. No, sorry.
Yeah, James
Wrong
on
one.
things.
Yeah, James. Have you met James?
No, we haven't.
Oh, we have in
No.
Curacao. He's such a nice guy. He also
a
get
very good-
Dakota lithium batteries.
Dakota lithium batteries.
Do we meet you?
You
Do
s-
you have a YouTube channel where you are?
You say it so unusually. When she said to me, when she came back from France, she was like, "Do you have Dakota lithium?" I was like,
Dakota-
"I'm sorry, you're gonna have to say that again. Do you have Dakota lithium?
Yeah, sometimes
What?
people don't understand what I say.
Do you
Okay.
have Dakota
Charming.
lithium?"
It's charming.
Okay, so Emery asked a good follow-up question to the catamaran thing. What is your ultimate sailing boat brand? Kraken, Harbor-Gracie, Naiad. Ours is Garcia.
Yeah,
Garcia is
That's
our
ours,
dream
yeah.
boat. Yeah, if like the day that we have a little bit of money, which it's not going to come from YouTube. Let's be real. It will be a Garcia.
What about these guys?
I think for us,
I used to say the Garcia Explorer.
Oh, really?
That
You
was
too?
my first. Yeah, no, I love that, but because it was built in a way that I like with an ethos that I can get behind. But having just spent this week on the Kraken, I think I am a convert. Like I'm not gonna. I know it sounds like I'm trying to push my videos and whatnot.
Did you
But-
join a cult? I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
It's
I
a
know,
joke.
right?
It's a joke. It's a
But
joke.
I am. I honestly, if I had the money, I genuinely, I'd buy one. I really would. I'd buy one, and I'd do what I said I was going to do before, and I'd fill it with people, and I'd take everyone out, because I don't know. That boat stands for everything that I think a boat
But that's fine. You
should
can have one, and we'll have a Garcia, and we
Exactly.
can do a
Done.
boat swap.
Could do a boat. Yeah. Now that's a boat swap, right? If you have the Explorer Cat, and we have the Kraken, we
Yeah.
could. Oh, now that
Big
would be
boat
a
swap.
real walk on the wild side.
now does anybody have a spare few million?
yeah.
you know?
could
No, we
somebody
just have
cut me a
Taco
check?
John's put up the thing on the spinnaker. Right? This
That's
is all
how we
work-
can make this happen.
This
It'll
is
just
all
be
working
like
out.
every boat will just be a big billboard.
Yeah.
Guys, what about an oyster? Hi, Greg.
No.
I don't
No?
know. I need.
I mean, they're nice, but I just
Guys, if you had the opportunity to buy an oyster,
Well,
Would
if I can afford
if
an
it's-
oyster, I can afford
Exactly.
other things.
I can
though.
afford
exactly.
a Kraken, which
So,
is less money.
Look,
so
if
I
someone
wouldn't.
gave me one, I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay.
Of course.
Exactly.
But if I had the money for an oyster, I'd
But,
make
yeah.
a more informed. I'd make a different purchase.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, is everyone's goal to fully circumnavigate or to stick mainly to the cruising lanes location?
No,
I would like to go.
I would
around.
like to fully.
I would definitely want to
circumnavigate.
go around, and I don't want to stay in the lanes. It's a big call. Talking a big game here, but
It's considering what we've done. It's
considering
talking a big game.
where we've been, but I want to go a long way north and a long way south, and around a couple of capes and across all of the oceans.
Yeah.
I don't really just want to do the mid-latitude lap over and over
Yeah.
again.
See, that's my thing too. I feel like a circumnavigation would be cool, and oftentimes Ryan and I talk about an accidental circumnavigation, like
It was
we
never
just
our
move
plan. Yeah.
from one place to the other, and eventually we end up.
It feels like that sometimes. You're just
like
running
crossing our
from
paths.
season to season.
But the reality is that there are so many cool things to see north and south. Like I would love to go to Canada and to the northern part of Canada.
That's amazing.
I want to go to Greenland. I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Svalbard. And my absolute dream is to sail to Japan.
Oh, cool.
It's I really want to do that.
I've
That
actually
would
heard
be-
that's pretty cool sailing.
Yeah, but it's difficult cruising because there are no facilities to cruise. Like anchoraging is limiting, and then there is this whole cultural thing with the language.
Yeah.
So, but that's my absolute dream, and that is not the traditional path. That is not circumnavigation. So we talk about it in terms of sailing the world. Like those are the destinations that we want to do, and circumnavigation. Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's like a cool box to tick in.
That's it. It's a box to tick, right? It's a bucket list thing.
But at this point, I feel like we're past ticking boxes.
We are, maybe, in a way.
I don't care really
There's a
about
few accolades I'd like to get still, but it's more just that it's not a a must have. It's not like you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's just we can do it, so why the hell not, sort of thing.
To me, sailing to Japan would mean a lot more than circumnavigating.
Yeah,
right. It's like you want to sail
True.
around the world, like
Yeah.
squiggly lines, as opposed to around
Yeah.
the world. That's I stole that from Dick Beaumont, but that's.
Oh, I was like,
Did you not know
I
what
was
he meant?
editing for like hours, and he was like around the
He
world
just said
rather
the
than around the
same thing
world.
twice.
And I was
What the
like,
hell?
oh, okay, I'm gonna keep that one in regardless, because
No, he
obviously,
means
like
around,
Adam
like,
got it because he
all
laughed.
over.
But
Yeah,
I get it.
All right, guys, I just get the signal from Ryan that we've been live for 2 hours now.
All right, this
Where
is pretty
are we?
impressive.
Where are we with the port wine?
We are
Wow. You got a way
almost.
to
We're
stick
like
with
that.
it.
Okay, no, we're
Nah,
done. we're done. We're
finishing the bottle
done.
of port. Yeah,
There we
just a little bit. Okay. So
We're
we're gonna
done.
take the very
Alright.
last questions, and the silliest question wins. So
Okay.
you guys go
All
crazy.
right, so the booze is kicking in, indeed. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is kicking in.
So Hono, yeah, I have been checking out this series. It's a neat little craft. Sorry. Yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
just a
those
side-
the Dutch made.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. Yeah, I haven't done a deep dive at all, but they're pretty neat little concept.
Yep. Yeah, they're pretty cool. What else? Oh, is that the one with the
The bilge keels and the twin rudders.
Yeah, we saw them a little while ago.
There was one
yeah,
here,
quite cool.
I think, actually, when
Really?
we arrived. I think so. Maybe it was in Horta. It's somewhere around here.
Hmm. Sweet.
All right, guys.
well,
I think that everybody's out of questions. This is officially
And
the
we're
end
out
of
of
this
words, which is convenient timing, I think.
live. Yes. Well, everybody, 469 people at the end of this live
That's
for a
great.
Monday night. That is a lot of people. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this was
you.
interesting. I hope that you get a little something out of it.
Yeah.
I hope you got your coffees and were drinking with us, and I'm not going to say your beers too. What I just did. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you everybody for the super chats. That was
Yeah, thanks so much.
really super nice.
Yes.
And
you so
well,
much.
Thank you all for watching.
Yes.
Most importantly, we all wouldn't be sitting here. Maybe Ryan would be sitting here. We all would be
Just talking
sitting.
to myself.
Well, we certainly wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for all of you guys playing at home. Thank you for watching. We really will never be able to make it up to you, or to express our gratitude enough. it is an absolute pleasure to do what we do. And it is that because of all of you. So thank you.
Thank
Did
you.
fart?
No.
Okay.
What was that?
All right, guys. Thank you so
So
much.
Adam has this lovely ending, and it's like, did you fart?
5:30 a.m. from Perth, WA. Thank you, brother.
Oh, yay! Thank
Hello,
you,
Australia.
for
Hometown.
representing. Yes.
Cheers, mate.
Promote Patreon. Yeah, we're both on Patreon. So if you want to support our channels, you can join our Patreon pages. What kind of cool stuff do you have on your Patreon page?
Live chat. Our Patreon page is an odd one because it's all behind the curtain. I basically have an email correspondence with almost all of them.
Nice.
And so like we do the live chats and we do the merch and all that kind of stuff. But genuinely,
You're just
it's
there.
It's just a pen
Just
pal.
there.
I'm just there. I'm always there.
Yeah.
Phone call, email, whatever. We just talk. Like I try not to structure it in a too much of a way, you know, like because then it becomes like, oh, I can't answer you because you're the wrong. Everybody gets the same. You just have to ask, and I have to have the time.
We get a new super chat. Thanks, Peter.
Oh, thank
Yay!
you so much,
Thanks,
Peter.
Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the same with Ryan. Like the only place that Ryan creates anything really is on Patreon.
Yeah, I do a bit more
That's
on
good.
Patreon than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And if you're interested in our videos, I have published a backlog of 5-7 videos that are only available on Patreon. So it's cool. So you're always a month in advance on Patreon. That's a cool thing that's going on. All right,
guys.
we need to go now
We will
because
catch you in another chat.
as somebody said, the booze is really
Another one for Ryan.
is really kicking in.
Thickened
Totally, I
and
even
widened, good sir. Woo!
Yeah, Ryan, you go. All right, guys, we need to end this broadcast now. But thank you, everyone. It was super fun, and let's see what we what we do in the future. We'll be
Stand by for the Sahara Desert boat sail
That's right.
land sailing adventure.
Swap Garcia Kraken thing.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
one.